Okay, let's open up this 21-day work, which is going to be, I can tell, a beautiful work because we got a nice group of people here. And a differential group, too, of people, as we all are, but we've got people from all around the world here. And where you were born is where you came from, not where you live today, pretty much. So, you know, this is a 21-day journey that we've done for many years. Dr. Nick has been doing fasting with us as the medical supervisor 7 years now? 6?
Off and on, yeah.
Yeah. And we've had close to 300 people that we've, you know, been able to help in certain ways only because you wanted to help yourselves. Because we really can't help you in the ways that you think. Okay? The group is going to help you. And the environment's going to help you here, and everything that we've got here to make your journey so you can really step up to this other layer of, you can call it awareness of yourself. But this is, like I said, the year 2020, which is a beautiful year for all of us to be able to, as I say, to get eyesight, 2020 vision. Symbolism is beautiful. So all we have to do is make the symbolism come true. So all I know is my life's changed. Hey, I've got a beard growing right now. First time in 30 years. So we're all going to be changing our lives after this event. So don't go back to the way from which you came. That's why you're here, is to change it up. Okay, that's one of the major reasons you're here, is to change it up. Okay. And just for the record here, it's January 15th. And this is our first day. And we're going to have a little bit of cacao, which is a very neurotropic, heart-opening. It's a drug, really, real cacao. When you eat cacao, you're going to feel the heart chakra open up. So everybody's going to be a little chattier than normal. Okay? And we like doing the cacao. If we want to go ahead and even pass that around now, before everybody's going to talk a little bit so we can get you to talk a little more.
Please.
So while everybody's indulging.
There's little plates there, paper plates.
Yep. And eat as much as you feel that you need to. Remember, this is your last, you can call it your last supper. Okay?
Last lunch.
Yeah, your last supper, breakfast, lunch, it's your last meal. And when you eat your first bite of food, when you start to refeed, remember, it is an honor to be able to fulfill the body with everything that you have, of course, avoided yourself, because you'll appreciate food. Because most people don't appreciate food, because we eat at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and expect it to, wow. I'm going to take 2 pieces here. You know, food is the most nourishing part and enjoyment of our lives. So, you know, when you start to refeed, like I said, you'll find out that food, remember, is not just to be swallowed, it's to be honored. Eat this very slow. Remember, it's your last meal. You're going to jail. So you just eat very slow and you taste everything, just like when we were meditating a second ago. You're listening to everything because no one's chattering. And what did we hear? We heard a lot of beauty. And Nestor, that was great. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm going to pass this mic over to Mark just for a sec here, and we're going to go to Dr. Nick just for a few minutes, and then we'll work our way around. And we do have a good group of people to help you here, remember, to support you. Think of this, remember, you're going through a dry out, is the reason being, number one is what I like to call it, the physical, mental, and emotional dry out. And when you dry yourself out of everything, you get to find out that you don't need much when you reestablish yourself from a dry out. So most people, remember, are overindulging in a lot of different things that they're doing, including using a lot of the radio frequencies, the cell phones, the computers. You know, we specifically, and I've spent thousands of dollars to make this so we can not use Wi-Fi here, to use wires. So you have high-speed internet here. If you want to use your cell phone, I don't want to ever catch anybody putting one up to their head. Talk on speaker if you have to, and I recommend not even holding it as you speak. And we'll get into, of course, the reason why about microwaves is because a lot of people's health problems has to do with this hidden technology, the RF frequencies. So here we are very lucky to be able to not have good cell phone coverage, okay, because there's not too many cell towers here. And you know, part of your healing is to stay away from as much of the artificial world as you can. You are here in the most natural. Remember, there's no predators here, there's no lions here, there's no crocodiles here, there's no snakes here. So going in the river, the waterfall, make sure that if anybody's going down there, I'm sure Mark and everybody's told you have to have some sandals on or shoes, because sometimes from the river with these big storms, there's a piece of glass that comes down from wherever it knows, who knows where it comes in. Okay.
Sharp rocks.
Sharp rocks, because we've had people cut their feet before and it ruins your day. You know, you can even, you know, when you go on walks here, because we do walks, it's nice to ground yourself, and I usually tell people, put on a pair of socks. And we can even get you some, if you don't have any socks, Walmart's up the street. When the guys go to, you know, place, get you some not white socks, you want black socks so they don't look as dirty. They get just as dirty, but they don't look as dirty. And it still grounds you, cotton socks. So it's really nice for you to stay as grounded as you can here. And when the sun comes out, because we've had like the most beautiful weather for the last 3 months. And just in the last couple of weeks, it's rained a lot. So hopefully it'll go ahead and not rain as much, because the sun is out and it's really easy to fast. When the sun's not out, remember, it's good to commensurate with each other. But when you do get the sun, run out to the sun, because the sun recharges you. And we'll talk about, you know, skin cleaning, because you want to definitely clean your skin before you get out in the sun, because if you get sunburn, then you're going to sort of not be, you know, the way we want you to be. Okay, so full nude bathing is really good. We just don't do it here. You got 30 acres here. Take a towel with you, go to the lychee trees anywhere you want to. And it's good to get full body sun if you can. At least get as much body sun as you can on your body. So, okay, let's just pass this around. You guys did
Yes.
this morning?
Yeah, we went down the waterfall. We went halfway up, and we came back down because we needed to get started.
Yeah, and our concern, remember, is your safety. Hawaii is raw. Okay, you can get hurt here. There's, you know, there's cliffs, there's, you know, and we've made this place here, the sanctuary is what I call it. We've made the sanctuary very, you know, safe here, but there are places still where you can, you know, get hurt down in the waterfalls especially. So when you do go to the waterfall, make sure that you don't go by yourself. You always go with someone. If you're going to go in. If you're not, then it's fine to walk around or whatever. But if you're going to go into the waterfall at all, go into the water, just make sure someone's with you. Okay.
We covered that. But,
Yeah.
yeah, some of the guys, they didn't even want to wait.
Did you guys go down there already?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to be as probably brief as anybody could possibly be. First, how's the cow? It's something I love to do. Good.
Honey, yeah?
Yes,
honey?
I use honey.
Yeah.
I know that, you know, some
thought I
people
could
don't
taste
like
honey.
sugars and so on, but honey makes it.
You like to make it taste good. Cacao is bitter,
I like honey.
and
Yeah.
for me, too sweet for me, but
But it's from the farm, right? The cacao.
Oh, the cacao came from Ultimate Superfoods, the company back in the mainland.
This cacao is called El Riba Nacional, just so you know. El Riba Nacional is 2% of the cacao in the world. They've cut down all the cacao trees just because it competes with Prozac, Zoloft, and Paxil, which are antidepressants. Real cacao has phenylethylamine in it, and phenylethylamine is a drug. And it makes you feel good. Picking up dog poop, working, okay? It makes you feel good. But it also, if you get pissy, it'll make you more pissier too. So cacao is to be eaten in the future when you're in a good setting too. You don't go to eat cacao when you're going to go ahead and have maybe a very turbulent discussion or debate, okay? Because you get passionate, and you can get passionate in a lot of different ways. So cacao is you know, what you can call sort of like the super medicine for people that don't feel good. Okay? And eating cacao is not, it's just like anything. I eat cacao now maybe once or twice a week, that's it. Because if you eat it every day, you don't get the magic from it. And you'll notice if you have a couple good pieces of it, just chew it real slow. And since he's got sugar in here, you want to try to process as much sugar as you can in your mouth. It may take you 2 minutes just to be able to swallow a piece.
32 minutes?
Not 2 minutes to swallow a piece, yeah, so.
Okay, so I'm Mark. I'm going to make a long-winded story because everybody's got a story, but I'm not into stories, so I'll just keep it really, really brief. What brought me here is an awakening that happened many years ago with this guy, and that awakening was to do good things. In the back of my truck says, what is a man? Woman. That doesn't make the world better. And at the end of the day, what we're here is we're works of art in progress, and it's for us to make a masterpiece out of it, constantly polishing it up and working on it and working on it. And from that awakening, it's all about, what good things can we do? We see all kinds of crazy, destructive, self-destructive things that we're doing to ourselves and each other. But it's, after that awakening was, we've had some pretty profound awakenings where we wanted to we were so enthusiastic about what can we do in the world that will make a difference. And then we had this crazy idea of starting a superfoods company and finding the best superfoods from all over the world, and wanted to not just be a bunch of trinket or merchant people for profit, but we wanted to be able to, if we could give them away, we could, but the system wouldn't allow us to do that. But we wanted to do it at such an affordable rate that everybody could have superfoods. Instead of having to pay a premium for healthy foods, they could, and get charged so high that it can contrast to having to pay pennies on the dollar for junk. So we had started Earthshift Products, Ultimate Superfoods, but the long and the short of it is why we're here doing this is because it's one of the greater works that we can possibly do, is to progress this work of art and make it a masterpiece, and something that's referred to in shamanism called self-mastery. Here to master ourselves. It is an art and a work in progress, and there's so much to know and so much to understand. And the greater wisdom says the more you know, the less you know. You really know nothing. And it's humbling how little we really, really know. It's almost scary, but it's also humbling. So anyways, that's what brought me here to do this at this moment in time, is to help ourselves progress. So it's pretty much where I'm at.
Thank you.
I've known Mark for about 40 years or so. He had children, I had children. He got married, I got married. He got divorced, I think I got divorced. All about the same time. We've been through many different, awakenings, as you can say, with different types of diets that we've tried.
Cleansing experiments. I was telling them about you and I on cold sweats. Cold sweats. They're talking about, oh my God, what do we do? We're going to die. So we've done this. We've really, really got this to.
Experimenting.
Yeah.
Remember, everything's an experiment that you're going to do here on yourself, because everyone's different. So we've made this so it's very toned down now to make it so, average people can go ahead and actually really get health benefits from doing therapies, as we say, collectively. So you do one therapy, then the next therapy helps the next therapy, and then each one collectively helps instead of taking larger amounts of different products that some people get sick and some people don't. So it's taken 15 years or so, just more, 20 years, just to be able to make it so we could have a group of people here and everybody get really, really good results instead of just a few people get results because some of the people got sick because it's too aggressive for them. So this is, I mean, at least 15 years fasting experience with different types of therapies that makes it so when you guys are actually going to go through this detox, as we can say, okay, it's very effective for younger people, older people, and it's not over the top. So again, you'll find out that, you remember, the support group is everybody here. This is the most important part of what I wanted to really say. You know, so yeah, it's hard to you know, do any of this fasting or anything until you know, other people like Dr. Nick, okay, myself, everybody's gone through these things before. Now we can find a way to make it so it's a little easier for average people, because I don't even know what you people have done before. Okay, a lot of people come from eating, you know, just the standard American diet and come here. And some people have been veganism for a while and they're maybe cannibalized. Some other people are on this type of a diet and they've got certain other types of problems, whatever it is. So everybody's starting at a generalizational rate right now. And yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, too much chocolate.
So, my name is Nicholas Tanchef. I am a doctor of chiropractic. I have a specialty in certification in water fasting supervision. And Dr. Cassar gave me the opportunity to be able to help people with water fasting on this property about 6 years ago. And so I love helping people with water fasting and monitor people while they undergo massive changes in a short period of time. Clinically, there's nothing else that comes close to what changes people can make in a short period of time that in any way is able to have the same effect. So it is obviously not as easy as, you know, taking this or taking that. You know, abstaining from all things is definitely challenging, especially as people go through a lot of different acute crises or, you know, as Dr. Cassar will say, turbulence. So yeah, and the purpose of this sharing session today is it really helps us. I read through all of your health questionnaire information and get to know you in our little one-on-one visits. But this is really helpful just to hear from you your short story about what brings you here today. Fasting has been super beneficial in helping me to recover my own health more than 20 years ago. And so for me, you know, when something was able to give me my life back, I felt like, and I always said this at the time when I was really sick, you know, if I could ever get my health back, I would dedicate my life to give back, because of what it gave me back was my ability to be able to live again. So I'm very grateful for fasting, and this gives me the opportunity to give back what I know has helped me, and most often it is going to help everybody who gives their body an opportunity to just allow their body to do what it needs to do, which is to cleanse the organs so that your organs can do what it needs to do when it's not fasting, which is to assimilate and absorb the nutrients of what we love to do, which is we love and enjoy good food. So appreciate the time of abstaining from the food, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it a lot more when we come to breaking this fasting experience and going back into food again. So I think for everybody here who's staff supporting you, it just helps us to get to know you a little bit better and have a little bit more of a deeper connection to know that story. And for all the staff as well, we love to hear your short story as well. Okay, so I know when we get this, we think about but we're happy to listen to everything that you guys have to share. It's always interesting to hear. Okay, Nestor.
Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. My name's Nestor, and what brought me here today was my curiosity to know more about the world, to really experiment with my body, to understand myself more, and to learn to heal and to be of service of others. Another thing that brought me here are some amazing friends that gave me the opportunity to come out here and assist you guys and to be present for you guys and to hold container while you guys do your thing. So I'd really like to tip my hats to all of you for being here and for being present and for doing the work, because it's not easy, but we do it for several different reasons, and I like to say one of the main reasons why kind of what we do is para el bien de todos, which means for the good of all. And so I believe we're all here to make a change within ourselves and within the people closest to us. And so I honor all of you for being here and for doing the work. Thank you.
Thank you. One thing I just wanted to mention to thank Mark. Mark really has worked hard to bring all of you guys here.
Super hard. Wouldn't believe it.
This guy has been going above and beyond the call of duty. So I know he's really had to work hard on. Anyways, I just wanted to thank you for that, and for you guys to know how hard this guy has had to work to bring this whole thing together. All right, on to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. Well, my name is Raiko. It's a Berber African name, Rayco, and my journey in life was to get to understand this like quantum incredible biocomputer that we are using temporarily. And because of that, even though I didn't know, I became a physical therapist and then a chiropractor in my country. I got a specialization in sports physical therapist, and I thought that was like the highest I could get. I worked in professional sports for 10 years with basketball players, NBA players, top 10 ATP players. And at the very end, like when I was 28, I was like, there must be something else. So I quit sport and I went full on in a journey of science, the so-called science. So I took a PhD program on biomedical research and a PhD program on biotechnology. And that was when I ended in 2009. What happened to me is that I realized that everything was so analytic, so compartmented, that it really never fulfilled my will for seeking. So because I always been a seeker, always been into anti-aging, optimization, medicine. So I did all that I was supposed to do, and at the very end, it was like, this is not what is really, I mean, it's not working, and I didn't know. So I kind of like refused to keep searching for a little bit. But then years later, universe put Carlos and his family in my path. And even though I didn't know much about fasting and all these techniques, I just trusted in him, and I can say I will always be grateful to you, Carlos, for what happened in our brotherhood, and the doors that you open up for me was one of the most beautiful things. So I surrendered to his offer, and I came here in 2016, and we had, I would say, a pretty good group. Excellent group. And at the end of and I had never fasted before, I have to say, but I went full on the 14 days thing, and at the very end of the retreat, I couldn't even believe how good I was feeling. Like my body was unbelievable. And then I had the realization that fasting only is something like you could get so much benefit of it. That was like crazy that I studied for so many years to achieve something that was essentially so simple at the very end. So that changed my mindset, and ever since I've been on and off with the protocols, because in the default world it's not easy. But at some point I had a realization that if you do the things that are pretty much included in this protocol, it's not that you can live forever, but you can achieve a state of health that you wouldn't imagine that you can get, right? So that really touched my base. No, there's another. No. I can find the word. No, my foundation. Thank you, my foundation. And then ever since was like, oh, how many things I could have done that I didn't know, that I couldn't make it, but also it was my first experience. So for years, ever since, I was like, I want to repeat the retreat, but then I want to do this and I want to do that, and but never really created the space. But in the awareness of just waiting for things to happen, this opportunity to come here as a facilitator just came to me, and then I took it. And I'm very grateful to have in the staff people that are my friends, people that I love, you know, so it feels like family already. And if bringing some gifts for the retreat in the form of technology, new technologies or new techniques, but I would just recommend everybody here to, if you can, just like do your best to like follow the protocol, and then don't miss any minute doing whatever, when you can do at the same time do something for yourself or for your body, because afterwards you're going to regret, and then you want to come back again.
So do you currently spend most of your time in Spain?
Well, that was part of the process here. I just recently got a work visa in the US that took me, I would say that I'm depleted now, because just to get that visa since 2006 it completely depleted my system and my finances and
so you've been
everything.
working on getting a visa to...
Working in getting a visa,
US.
and you know, I own a practice, a physical therapy practice in Spain where 6 people live, work, and but my journey has been like to make it, and it's just now that I'm feeling that, okay, I made it. I'm in the US, I don't have to fly out at some point, and it's the perfect storm that 2020, which is a very symbolic, important year, that all of a sudden we are here to start the year in this beautiful way.
And so now at this point you're able to have licensing for PT in the US?
I'm in the process.
Okay.
But my visa, I got a business visa because I'm an expert in thermography, and I own a thermography company, medical thermography company in California. But I'm a nomad, basically. I don't have a house right now. Okay. This is my house.
And how did you first get to know Carlos? Then you said you got to know his family in
Yeah.
California.
Burning Man, ayahuasca, blah 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 blah.
So how many people are here as a result of Carlos? That's quite a few people too.
Yeah.
Carlos has done an amazing job of bringing like really amazing people to this
Yeah,
place.
he's a beautiful
He
connector.
like knows like so many like amazing people,
Yeah,
just
Carlos.
like good people.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
knows
waves. He
so many
waves. He
good
waves very good.
yeah. Everyone he's ever brought here has just been like
Top flight. Oh.
good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how many days did you do your fast? Tell everybody so they know it can be done.
I never fasted before, even for one day, and I went the 14 days full on. Right.
So it can be done.
Yeah.
Carlos, how long did you go?
14 days.
Can be done. Right? So, because there's a lot of newbies here, never fasted even for a day. Okay? It's the support group here, not only us, but everybody that's here that lets you so you can bounce off. Remember, you're not gonna perish with the group, but by yourself you may feel like you're going to.
Nobody's ever perished. Nobody's ever gone to the hospital. We're a fasting family, and I was saying earlier how we've had groups that were so standoffish. They didn't want to interact with anybody, and they're all closed up by the end. By the middle and towards the end, everybody's hugging and
Everybody's
crying,
super family.
yeah, there's something about this, but it is a journey, and we're here to support each other and a little bit of humor. It's an AA for fasting.
And fasting is very safe as long as you stay conductive. Okay, so these are all these little pieces, because a lot of times you can do this at home and you're going to feel like you're going to die, most likely because you're not even doing it right, you're not in the right atmosphere, you haven't unplugged yet. You're unplugged. So you're really, pretty easy for people, newcomers, just like Reiko, okay, 14-day fast. That's an intermediate faster. 15 days I call an advanced faster. What's the longest you ever did?
32.
32 days. And that's about the longest we've ever had a person ever do
That's
fasting.
master fasting.
Yeah,
Master.
the body is what I'm saying, is tough. It's tough, okay? And as long as you're in a place that doesn't have too many assaults, fasting is very easy to do. But you can't do this in the city. It's really hard to go ahead and do this while you're, trying to argue with all your friends about work and doing all the things, okay? So like I said, unplug your mind, and it's easy to be able to follow the protocols. And you're here. So make sure, you try to do like what Reiko said. Don't, because some people, they get a little discouraged a little bit sometimes, don't show up to the exercise class, whatever it is. Just do what you can do, but try all the time. Yeah.
So, and when I left the retreat, what I could feel was like this, like deep, like relaxation and peace, because I knew that anytime I lose my health in the future, I just have to come back to fasting. I will recover it, and they give me so much peace, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That's your doctor. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Sloan. A dancer and a healer, craniosacral therapist, ozone therapist, amongst many other things. I'm just actually starting
Say all of those again.
in the same order. Dancer, healer, energy worker, craniosacral therapist, ozone therapist, traveler.
Okay.
Yeah, many facets. So I'm just starting to realize that I've been biohacking for a very, very long time, pretty much since the age of 13 or 14, when I got into ozone therapy through a mentor, a holistic practitioner, where he started teaching me how to build the machines on my own and consult clients, and we started to experiment on ourselves, pretty much being our own guinea pigs with all different types of fasting and methods of cleansing, lots of enemas and colonics and so forth. So I've been in Los Angeles, mostly, in San Fernando Valley. Yeah, there's a hub there where we build the machines, and my kits as well
The
now.
machines are the ozone machines.
The ozone machines we build, yeah.
Okay, and these are inserted internally.
Through insufflations mostly, but we also do IVs.
Okay.
So I've backed off the IVs for a while now because I feel like the rectal insufflations especially can be just as sufficient and just very thorough. So, but just this past year in 2019, it was a very challenging year on many, many levels, and I sort of abandoned a lot of the things that I was doing before for my health and staying tuned and tuned in and grounded. So just in the past couple of months, I've been able to press the reset button on a lot of that and get back into what I've been so passionate about pretty much my whole life. And this feels like kind of the catalyst for all that. And I'm really excited about jumping back in and being here for all of you, holding space and just being a listening ear and however else I can support you. So yeah, I think that's it.
And are you still based in LA now?
I'm now in Sonoma County on the Russian River.
Okay, right.
Yeah, but also bouncing
I asked
around.
you about that. Right. Okay. Russian River. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. Yeah.
So I guess I'm the first faster. So I want to apologize. My mind is jumbled right now, so this might not come out in any wonderful order.
Start with your name.
Okay. Thank you.
Your name is Deepali, but people call you Polly.
Yeah. So I like both. So Deepali, Polly. I talked to Dr. Cassar. I'm from India. That's where I'm from, but I live in Austin.
Were you born? So you were born in India?
Yes.
And how long have you been in Austin?
Well, I've only been in Austin for a year, but I've kind of lived all over. So.
Okay, so you've been in the U.S. for?
Since I was a baby.
Since a baby. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And so I wanted to start off by saying I'm really appreciative. I have a tremendous amount of respect for your work, Doctor, and it's changed my life, and try not to get emotional. And I'm very thankful that you've welcomed me here to your property. And Mark, who made me a special cacao because ashwagandha makes me itch. and Dr. Nick and the facilitators and the other fasters have been awesome. It's been so great, and I've only been here a day. So I was thinking about 2020, and the concept, two things have come to mind. One is that I feel for like the larger sort of population, there's this wave coming in, and if you have an intention, I feel like 2020 has this wave sort of pushing behind you, and I don't know why I feel it, but I've been feeling it for the last 3 months. But the other thing that I've been thinking about is creating versus consuming, and I'm wanting to shift how I spend my time into more of a creating versus consuming mentality. And so part of being here, aside from the physical reasons, which I won't go into, but this is gonna, I think fasting creates a space to take out the old and come in with the new. And I've had a healing experience with fasting in India about 11 years ago, and that's where I sort of got interested in it. I have a huge problem with discipline. I'm sort of like all over the place, and I think fasting might bring in that discipline that I want in my life. And working a little bit on the sugar addiction. and self-development, and just sort of like moving forward in a really deliberate and with deliberate intention and a clear sort of. So I feel like this process will create that space mentally and physically, and like at the start of a new decade, which is like, that's really exciting. I hope that wasn't all over the place, but that's what
That's great. Yeah.
Okay, go Eric. I'll go after.
My name is Eric. I'm from Seattle, Washington. And actually my birthday is coming up on the 24th. So I was born in January. And January got its name after the Greek god Janus, which is the god of dualities or paradoxes. And so I don't know why, maybe it's because of when I was born, but I've just always seen the differences in paradigms, and I could see outside of them. So I was always like pulling from different things as I was just exploring. And I come heavily from an athletics background. I lettered in football, soccer, and wrestling in high school. And so I was just always looking for ways to increase my own performance. And that really got me into the biohacking community. And through that, I ended up discovering Dr. Cassar when I was researching on distilled water, and just loved that you had so much experience and wisdom trying out all these different methods, because we see people who tap into a truth and they create a method around it, and then they almost become salesmen for that method and like just so blinded to the other stuff. And so I'm really about taking what's good and true about this model and how we can put the truth from several different models together. And so I've really done a lot of experimentation on my own, but that has its limitations. And so that's why I'm really honored for the opportunity to come here and go through a highly researched and experimented program that's really fully put together, so I can experience that instead of just kind of randomly trying a bunch of different pieces, trying to figure it out all on my own.
Yeah, very good.
Awesome. Well, I'm probably the oldest one here, but I have 6 kids. They're all married. I have one adopted daughter, and she's not married, but and then 13 grandkids, and they're not even ended. So I plan on filling a whole park with my with my kids, and my family is what means the most to me. Keeping them together. I used to say I think I was born with the black and white stripes because I've been just the referee between all of them, and my husband and I have built a couple of businesses up and worked with the Navy. He was a Navy diver for a while. Go Navy, right? We're so a few years ago we started working with a good friend of ours and developed an organization called Operation Underground Railroad, where we help save children from sex slavery. And I had to pull myself out of that a year ago, which was the hardest thing, because I found that I don't do anything little. And sometimes when I throw myself into things so much, they consume me, and it becomes very difficult for me. And then last year, I was diagnosed with 2 forms of cancer, 2 different types of cancer. Just came out of the blue. I felt just fine, and I have a son who has always been into holistic, and all these things that he had been encouraged me. I mean, he even gave me a sauna, and I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. And I see that God has always put someone in my path to help me turn directions. And when I got the cancer, by the time I walked in there, I knew exactly what my path should be. It was, yes, surgery was okay, but nothing else, and then go a different path. And then so many things keep popping up, and when my son, I hit this plateau of my health, I knew I needed to do something else, and he said, check out that fasting retreat. And the moment that I saw your video about it, I knew that was where I needed to go. And I want you to know that I am so grateful to my Heavenly Father for putting people on the earth that are like you and like all of you, to help each other and to help show light and again truth, that I can't be more grateful. No matter how my story ends, I know that I have to be a good example for my family and for those around me. And even if I have people go, what, you're going to fast for 14 days? And inside I'm cringing, going, yes, I'm the lady with 2 refrigerators in her kitchen. That I have to do that to show that, yes, there are better ways to live and to do that. I am so grateful to be here and grateful to be with all of you.
And everybody should give themselves a clap to themselves. The only reason you're here, remember, is because you're being grateful to yourself.
Exactly.
You could be on a vacation on that Carnival cruise liner you're going to see going by you every day, and these people are loading themselves up with GMO foods, getting ready to what. I mean, that's a vacation, and after that, you need a vacation from the vacation.
Well, hello everybody. My name's Timothy. It says it right on my cup. Mark put it on there for me. So, anyway, I'm here because this is my time, you know, and in life we all have a journey, you know, and I fulfilled my journey. I retired about a year ago. I worked for the Navy. I retired from the Navy first, and then I worked for the Navy as a civilian. And during that time, I was married. I raised a son. He graduated San Diego State University with a master's degree in biochemistry. But while he was going to school, he used to bring his books home, you know, and I'm starting to read some of his books about biochemistry, and everything is about our biochemistry, you know, down to the single cell. You know, and we have up to 100 trillion cells in our body, you know, and during this time, about 2012, 2013, I used to research the internet like probably all of us did. We're looking for better health and trying to find our own way, and I found Dr. Cassar that way. So I got involved with Earth Shift right around that time, and I'm really not happy with myself because I moved about a year ago to Texas, and I cannot find that. I cannot find that. I've had that since 2013. Somehow I got lost in the move. So, but anyway, I'm back. I did. I looked on Earthshift. I didn't see any on there. But anyway, I mean, in 2013, I lost 50 pounds, and I got to be really strong. I mean, I got down from 240 to 190, and I was really on my journey. And I used to ride a bike 20 miles, and then I'd run like 4 miles, and then I'd do hot power yoga for an hour and 15 minutes, and then I'd swim. I'd do that every Saturday. But during the week, I'd run and whatever I could, but just trying to get back to where I could really be in shape, like when we're young. A lot of us were really in great shape. And we can all get there, and like he says, it doesn't matter how old you are. Our joints don't wear out. They wear out because we're on a sad diet, you know, and that's what wears it out. But anyway, I'm here for me. This is my time. So I'm retired now. I tried to follow your so many of your protocols years ago, but working full time and being involved in other activities, it's extremely difficult to do everything you said. But the liquids of vitality and a lot of the exercises and just your other protocols really helped me. So anyway, I lost all this weight, and then for some reason my friend said, hey, let's go buy Harleys. So I bought a Harley, and I gave up my bicycle, and then I joined the VFW riders, and that's what we do. We'd go ride from VFW and VFW, and what do you do there? You drink beer, you eat burgers and fries. So everything I learned, I reverted back to the way I used to be. So anyway, this went on for a while. It's like 2017. I'm thinking, man, I need to get back on the program. So I got in Earther Academy. So I started learning again, and then I'm thinking, San Diego was killing me. I lived in San Diego 27 years, drove the Coronado Bridge every day for 27 years to work on North Island Naval Air Station. So the traffic, after you work all day and then you're stuck in traffic for an hour and some, it just wears on you. And I don't know, a lot of you have lived in big cities. I know you guys were in California. It just wears on you. So I figured out my son was going to graduate with his master's about the time I'm eligible for early retirement. So I retired, and the day I retired, I left California. I'm just sick of it. I live in the country now, because I grew up in northern Wisconsin out in the middle of nowhere. And I love it. My neighbors now are horses and cattle and deer. What I regret is I cannot run around in the grass, because over there we have something called foxtails. They're like little round balls with like pickers on them, and you get them stuck in your feet all the time. No, I'm here. This is my time, and now I know I'm going to be successful. I've been watching a lot of things that you did, and November 20th, I got my infrared spa. The same day my water distiller came in that I ordered from Earther Academy. Yeah. And in 55 days, I've lost 26 pounds already. Wow. And I haven't been doing intense exercise, because 2 years ago, before I sold my house, I fell off the ladder when I'm changing out the chandelier that we had, and I fell right on the hard tile, right on my bad hip that I've always had. So during that time, even though I'm in pain, I repainted my whole house inside and out. I worked full time during that, and then trying to retire all at the same time. And then over that course of the time, I'm in pain, so I'm limping. And when I got here to Texas, I finally moved here. I'm really in bad shape, and some of my family and some of my friends are all telling me, "Oh, go to the VA. They'll just give you a hip implant." So they almost had me convinced. And I was almost ready to go down there, and then I saw a commercial on TV. If you had a hip replacement done, by the way, there's been problems, And I'm like, okay. So I found out about a chiropractor when I was in California, because while I was losing weight under your program, I didn't know that. I just thought you had aches and pains from being older. But I had 3 compressed discs. I had 6 pinched nerves in my back. I had a double reverse curve in my neck. So, but even though I had all that, I lost the 50 pounds. I just powered through. And anyway, Dr. Bergman in Huntington Beach, he's a chiropractor there. I saw him for a while. He got me squared away. And it took 6 months to do that, but I was going there every week, driving from San Diego to get me back on track. Anyway, I got where I live now. I got the best chiropractor that lives in the area. His dad was a chiropractor. He's like 40 years old now, but when he was 8 years old, he wrote a letter of what he wanted to be when he grew up. And he said, I want to be a chiropractor just like my dad. And now he is.
He could spell it?
Yeah, he did. It was on his dad's business, so that's how he knew how to do it. Anyway, the chiropractor looked at, he scanned me and everything. He said, we can really help you. I might not be 100%, but I'd rather find the natural path. If I can be 90 or 95%, I'd rather do that. Once they cut you, that's it. They take your femur, they actually cut it off. And when your bone is round, then they take a metal sleeve and they use a hammer sometimes, pound that in there. And then they're only guaranteed for like maybe 10 years. Some will say, oh, well, last, but then you're going to have to do it again. And I'm thinking, no,
These
so,
doctors do 3 or 4 hips a day. I mean, I know some knee surgeons, they do 5 knees a day. Take this whole knee out, put it all in, put a metal sheath in there, and 1 or 2 out of the 5, my father got his knee replaced. So it was the worst thing he ever did. He said, Rob, I should have listened to you. I should have lost 30 pounds.
yeah.
Okay? They hit one of his nerves, can't feel the thing in his leg, and it feels like a rubber band all the time.
But what happened to me was, so when I fell off the ladder and hurt my leg, I put on quite a bit of weight again, because and I'm all the stress of working. I'm painting my house inside and out, and then I'm working full time. So that's 16 hours a day that I'm doing that. I work second shift, so I was able all day. I'm painting my house inside and out. I'm doing repairs. So you don't really eat right when it's hard to stay in a program. I'm getting junk food, burritos, and burgers and everything. So I put weight on again, and then I moved here. So, I was 243 on November 20th, and I'm 217 today. So 26 pounds in 55 days, and I followed your plan. No sugar, no wheat, corn, no soy. I got up every morning, I urinated, I went out and drank the water, and then I made my tea. And while my tea was brewing, I'd do stretching. And after, the stretching's done, the tea's ready to go. And all day long, I lived on your breakfast tea, and I made the keto chocolate, and I perfected that. I love it. I just have a spoon of that during the day, and maybe at night I'd eat my eggs, because I'm not giving up eggs. People can tell me whatever they want. I will not give up eggs. So I'd eat eggs, and I always put mushrooms with them and a little bit of cheese. And that was my meal. And I make my own, I watched your video on cabbage, and I make my own, and I even put the kombucha in there. So, all of that, and then I eat with blueberries with that. So I felt like I was getting enough nutrition once a day. It's really all you need. We are just programmed. All of us are programmed to eat. Eat. We're inundated with commercials, magazines, everywhere you go. You hear it on the radio, but we don't need to. And this time, and I know I'll be successful, I know it. I'm not going back. You didn't go back, right? You put a lot of work in.
Yeah, you're getting reprogrammed.
Oh, yes.
And you're going to help other people.
And my mission will be to help my family and friends, because so many cannot. They wonder, how many men are out there? They don't look fat, but they have that thing right in front. Like you said, where all the parasites are, that'll block you, their skin's plugged, But what really helped is, like he says, you won't notice the drastic results till you get the spa and you get the water. You got to have the steam distilled water. So make an investment in your life. I spent $1,250 on Amazon. I got a 2-person spa. It's got a radio in there. It's got the ionic thing. Got a funky light like the 70s back, one of those disco lights. But it works. It really works. And I'm here because of you. So thank you.
And thank you for following some of the things on your own. Remember, you're doing it on your own. You watch some videos and you say, we were talking earlier.
But like you said, I took a little bit from you. I took a little bit here, took a little bit there, and I made my own program. And I learned a lot about the Fraud and Deception Agency too, otherwise known as the FDA. But and I don't want to get into that too much, but you guys know what I'm saying. So.
Which location do you get most of your hip pain? Is it
now
back there or in the front here?
The front, right here. But that's where the bone-on-bone is. But what my problem is
also
now?
Where you have that osteophyte formation. So sometimes that connective tissue keeps rubbing against that osteophyte formation right in there.
I don't notice, because I've been doing the MSM a lot. I don't notice the bone-on-bone pain anymore. What I notice is my muscles atrophied, and for almost 2 months now I've been trying to walk regular, and walking regularly really hurts. Because walking regularly, I'm using muscles that you don't use when you limp, right? So that's in my mind anyway. I have to retrain these muscles, and I haven't got there. Sometimes I still feel like my leg's just gonna give up.
Deep massage.
I'm doing it myself. No, I'm doing it myself, and I got one of these. I don't know, it looks like this. It's like solid, a yoga thing.
Yeah.
It's like solid rock. And I just grind that in there and keep moving it around. And I wanted to talk to you about it. Because I don't know if I have a labral tear or if it's just,
tissue is always get those edges of that osteophyte formation on that. I seen your,
Right.
you showed me your.
right.
that image.
But I have a clicking now. I never had that before. I have that click,
So
and then
that,
you move back and forth.
Yeah, you're hearing that calcification and that connective tissue, and then when they rub it against each other, it's no fun. It's
Okay.
painful.
Can are there things we can do for that? Okay, excellent.
I brought also here there is a artificial focal fever machine that I brought. It's called diatherm.
Okay.
Oh yeah, diathermy, yeah, that's
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah, so I brought it to use it basically in my little circle, but yeah,
Helps
it could
to
help
soften
a
and melt that
lot
stuff.
because you can go very deep with this.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. Anyway, that's the beginning of my journey, so more to
Yeah, if
continue.
you could put that diathermy like right there.
Okay.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
try.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Also, maybe your drug needle.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Hi, my name is Lydia. I came from Florida. A little bit of the background why I'm here. I like holistic. I'm a fanatic. I was a doctor in my past life. And I learn everything I can. And I know that I need to change everything, no? So I start learning and learning and learning. But you have to be congruent. What you think, what you say, and what you do have to be online. And I was not. So I will learn and I will talk, but it was hard for me because I have a very stressful job for 25 years. When I see patients showing me 35 pills in a box and fighting to get more medication, and I say, I don't want this life, like seniors, I don't want this life when I age. I don't want to be on prescription and fighting for prescription because it was like leading to that. So I wanted to leave my job for a while, but it was, very rewarding job. So I said, till I collapsed in 2016, and I need to be hospitalized for a week. So I said, I need to change. But still continue to work for one more year, finally semi-retire. And then I was looking on my emails, and I got information from you from Dr. John Dullar. He has something about you, and so I started researching. And I called my sister and I said, look, this seems to be good. And we were looking, and you have a picture with a big rainbow. We came out, and I saw the same rainbow. And I said, this is the answer, so we must do this. And she put it off, and I did for a while. So when I got the email, and I said, this is my time. So I need to do this because I wanted to feel good, and I know there is no time. When we going to do this? Okay, everything gets on you, the family, the money, the job, and everything. And I needed to do. And I always said, I want to help other people. I want to open like a space just to tell people, everything I learned, what I can learn, and just guide some people in the holistic way. But if I don't do it, who's going to believe me? Nobody. So I have some issues like my knee. It's bone to bone, and my sciatica from time to time, and my skin, I have like breakup that it was 100%, so they have to put me in the hospital, and that made me think. So when I came out of the hospital, everything was greener. I saw the sky in a different way. Everything was different to me, like I was waking up from that, dream. And I'm fighting just to put it all together. And I think this is it. I like everything, the staff, the doctor. I believe him. Because all the doctor you see, you don't believe them. I believe you because you preach and you are. So the staff seem wonderful. Oh, my God. I've been to other places and nothing inspiring. And thanks God that I'm here today. And thank you for all of you. I know that something good is going to come out. 2020, my year. A new year, too.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lydia.
Lydia, where were you? So, did you leave your job permanently or temporarily? Or?
Why? I prayed, we prayed. It wasn't like a little group after 25 years. And they offered a package. They said, okay, go. You did good all this time. Go and work on your own. Do whatever you can. You don't have to be obligated, but we're still getting paid. So somehow we have to still report to the company, but I don't have time.
So what is your occupation?
Insurance agent.
Insurance
Yeah.
agent, that's right. Okay.
So I have clients that still call me and I have to serve them, and I'm very devoted to, I do things from my heart and I help them any way I can, but
Right.
I'm not obligated, to work like I used to, 14 hours a day. And then when I come home, reports and go to bed like 1 a.m.
Is where you are.
No, it make me sick.
Yeah. Were
So,
you working with more personal or commercial?
No, it's personal, not commercial.
Yeah.
But I'm doing on my own pace. Like, if I do something, fine. If no, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
But I need to still be connected because, you still need
Now you're
to do something, to live.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Aloha. My name is Joshua. Really honored to be here today with all of you and for this retreat to get to transform with you guys. I'm here in service during this retreat, but I also get to learn a lot and grow a lot through this experience, this immersion experience. My background in healing work has taken me from a journey of doing Reiki and energy work from the time of 23, so about 18, going on 19 years now. I'm now 41. And over the years, I've been exposed to a lot of amazing therapies, cleansing, healing modalities, as well as different diets and approaches for fasting and cleansing. And I believe what drew me here was my deeper questioning about what was possible within my body, within my own body, and in the physical human experience. I'm a certified Bowen therapist, which has been a huge influence in a lot of the work that I've gotten to do with people over the years, just learning how to structurally align the body in one of the most gentle ways that I've ever seen, by adjusting the musculoskeletal, the tensioning system on the body. This has been a huge influence in my work to really find the special encoding of the body to help it realign and to help reconnect the brain and nervous system together. So along with doing this Bowen therapy work, I've also learned about bars therapy, which is a psychological and emotional clearing system that works with the neurology of the body to help clear all of the stories, the ongoing tape that the brain has, keeps track of every possible event that has happened and physically stored in your body. And a big part of what this storage does is it helps to remind the body, oh yeah, I went through that thing and now I've got to protect that area of my body. So a big part of what the bars is about is not only clearing a psychological connection to these challenges that we store in our body, but also the emotional trauma that we hold on to around this connection to the issues that we've experienced in our body. So what I really find is interesting is that as we are in life bridges, we're all bridges for the worlds that we connect to. I see how the questions that I've asked in my curiosity of being an empathic healer of sorts and somebody who is inclined to touch and help people feel better and more at ease in their body and their whole life, is that my personal journey has led me through learning these different therapies. And one of the most influential areas that I have seen is healing the body through physical nutrition. And one area that I have yet to really dive into is to fully undergo one of these water fast retreats. So I'm here getting to work with you guys, I'm also learning and getting to work with people in one of the most intensive, amazing environments that I've ever been exposed to go from working with people just on chronic issues through their life and helping them straighten and align their body and clear themselves energetically and become emotionally more exfoliated, psychologically lighter. This is an amazing level. I've always believed as a therapist that I've always felt as a therapist and believed that self-care is the greatest care that you're ever going to get in this life, because you can see every possible therapist in the world, but if you don't implement those techniques and modalities and use those tools for yourself, then you'll have it for a time and it'll slip away. And what takes place of the good things that we learn is poor habits. And I, as everyone has experienced chronic issues with poor habits tied to my emotions, my psychological bodies, all of the people that I've been so sensitive to, that I've been raised by and grown up around my whole life. We embody that which we're exposed to and privy to in our daily life. And I feel like one of the greatest things that we can really experience is the sense of sovereignty in life. And to me, what I'm really learning more than anything is the sovereignty of actually owning and occupying our bodies. So that's what I feel like this water fast work is ultimately about, and I'm really excited to continue to work with you guys in this transformational journey. And that's why I come here and I sit through the circle, because I could just work on your body, but if I didn't know your story, I wouldn't really be doing my full job and service as a therapist. So I'm incredibly, like, beside myself, brought to tears to watch you guys' journey. And I'm in turn, like, I'm here in therapy about learning how to really be in service and show up more, and getting to watch you guys grow like a tree, come from a seedling to bearing fruit into this whole new world of sovereignty and self-care therapy, which is the greatest therapy you'll ever receive in your life with all these tools you're gaining. So really honored to be here. And I got turned on to Dr. Robert Cassar's work through a very good friend who has helped me a lot in my physical health with colon hydrotherapy. And fortunately, I was already here on the island of Hawaii, just living 10 miles up the road. So I get to be here and be an integral part and walk with you guys. So thanks for witnessing, and
Well said.
yeah, thank you guys for witnessing yourselves and each other on this journey. And I'm here as sometimes mostly a fly on the wall, but somebody who gets to jump in and be an integral part of your journey, and that's a real honor once again. And thank you, Robert. And
so one of Joshua's, because I want to make sure he does a lot of the types of therapies that I want to get done to you is deep muscle, tendon, ligament, calcification work on your joints. He worked on me the other day for 2 hours. I mean, and this is one of the ways, especially when you're fasting, is to start breaking all these oxalate formations in your system. And when you stop, you're doing distilled water right now. So the distilled water, of course, with minerals throughout the day too, but the distilled water, as I start eating up the calcificational deposits, these oxalate deposits, and they need to be either self-massaged or, deeply worked on in the joint space, and really, just 1 second, yeah. And just, really spend the time. So, use Joshua. Okay, and you may get sore. Remember, you want to take as much as you can stand. This isn't like a sexual, goody-feely type massage. You know, this is not the foot massage place up the street. This is for you to get some deep, deep muscle work done, and you want to take as much as you can stand and a little bit more. And you should be able to feel it. Like I was really felt, you know, I could feel where Josh was working on my hip because I got a bad hip here for a while. And you know, in order for you to get in, I can do a lot of things myself in a lot of different areas, but there's nothing better than someone, and when you get these massages, you relax as much as you can to let him in to the areas. You fight it, and he can't help you as much. And a lot of it's a mind game. Relax yourself, okay? And let, you know, let someone, you know, really get in deep into these tissues.
One question.
Mm-hmm.
I know we have therapies available, and like when can we start doing this? If what day? Today, tomorrow?
You can start doing it. All you do is line up times.
Okay, I don't have to wait 3 days.
Well, we have different things that Mark's got set up on for different workshops we're doing and stuff. But in between, there's lull time and such and such.
We're giving you personal time. I mean, there's a lot of activity, like Dr. Cassar said, but I've scheduled things to where there is a lot of, I call it free time. If you look in there, it says free time, free time. So it's time for you to do whatever you want. You're not on call to do what the program says to do.
It's good for you not to miss the workshops, though.
Yes.
Yeah. So because the workshops are hands-on, so you can learn, you know. And then if you don't get it, doesn't matter. You're here for a little while, so you know you're gonna you know ask more questions and bounce off. But deep massage is very super beneficial for you to get. And it's, to me, remember, I call it acid reduction massage. It's getting as deep as you can stand and a little bit more. Okay?
Joshua has a schedule, I believe, that people can sign up, correct?
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, there's a schedule set up downstairs beside the bathroom next to the whiteboard. I believe that's also where the enema schedule would be placed or was over there.
It will be placed there shortly.
And you know, you may get sore when you get it done, okay, so you may have to wait a day or whatever, but you know, there's different areas that you can work on too.
Need to cause inflammation so we can make healing, right?
Yeah, and especially since you stopped eating. You've stopped eating, so you're going to unload a lot of different oxalates just by stop eating, okay? So you get oxalate overload a little bit here, but you know, and it's called oxalate dumping, because we all accumulate oxalates from the foods that we eat. Okay, and our body even makes a little bit of oxalates, but oxalates are what you could call probably one of the biggest, chiefest, you know, hidden disease. Oxalates are kidney stones, gallstones, arteriosclerosis, atherosclerosis, all these sore muscles. When you pinch on muscles and they hurt, those are oxalates most likely in the tissue. When you push on just body fat and you squeeze it there, this is oxalates in there. So there's all different types of massage depending on how deep someone can get inside you, is how much you've released the tissues, because on the outside you have the first level, body fat. Just to be able to get through that on a lot of people is a lot of work. Then you get into the muscle. Then you start releasing that. And when he's working on me, he's working into the deep tendon tissue, deep ligament tissue, okay, on the bone itself. So when you do, you know, the distilled water fasting, you'll be amazed that it's like doing months of massage work. You know, just very quickly, is because all this stuff just unloads, and it really helps to, you know, while you're doing this, because, you know, on the third, fourth, once you get in ketosis, your system's just unloading tons of stuff all the time. And one of the secrets, I mean, you know, there's different ways of looking at this, but if you really want to detox yourself, every time you urinate, remember, because you've got a lot of these oxalates coming out of you, you drink as you urinate, and you drink 32 ounces of water if you can. 2 o'clock in the morning, try to drink again, okay? And you keep on flushing the body. You go into the sauna. Remember, you're putting in clean water and you're pushing out dirty water. And then after a while, you just start to go ahead and actually, you know, start to change the dirty water bottle to a cleaner water bottle. Okay, that's going to Danielle now.
So my name is Danielle Marie Zadian. I'm from Southern California. I come from 6 brothers and sisters. I'm here to support and facilitate everybody with all the knowledge and wisdom I've gathered in my lifetime and be a student. What's really interesting about this circle is it gave me an opportunity to kind of reflect on my life and what brought me into this path of holistic healing. So I realized at the age of 7, my grandparents both died of cancer, actually a few hours apart. So I became pretty aware of health and how I wanted to be a part of something with health.
They die of cancer or the treatment?
No, they died both of lung cancer hours apart. Yeah, both my grandparents. I was named after my grandpa Daniel. And I remember what was really interesting about after Daniel died, my grandfather stayed with me, and I started to realize I had this ability to see spirits and communicate with the other side starting about 7 or 8. And then when I was about 10, my mom got very sick and with an autoimmune disorder and then almost died. And I remember it was really frustrating and painful. I tried to help with cleaning, not cleaning, but massaging her, talking to her, helping her. I was 10, so I couldn't help. And I felt really defeated, and I said, I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to learn about health and healing so people didn't have to suffer around me, because I saw people dying and getting sick. So very young, the only thing I really knew was let food be thy medicine. That was the only thing I had ever heard. So after I graduated high school, I moved to a holistic healing institute called Heartwood Institute, where I studied with Paul Pitchford, healing with whole foods, hydrotherapy, Chinese medicine, got certified in massage and all sorts of different things. It was a live-in university, so I was there about a year and a half, graduated, and then I moved to Hawaii. I lived part-time in Hawaii most of my life growing up. Got a job working for a lot of professionals and doctors teaching holistic healing, starting about 19 and a half. And then I met someone named Dr. Len Watson, and I started studying internal cleansing. He was the head of the University of Florida for cancer, internal cancer, in colon hydrotherapy. So he's the head of the department in integrated colon hydrotherapy. So I started learning that. And then he taught me a lot about raw foods and superfoods. And he gave me mushrooms when I was about 19 and a half, and a lot, and I had never done them. And he put all these foods out, and he's like, okay, what's the difference? Can you feel the energy? And I was like, oh, you can see the electromagnetics coming off the raw food. And he's like, that's dead. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do raw foods. And, coming from the healing with whole foods background in Chinese medicine, raw foods wasn't always accepted, but I went into that.
So that was while you were in magic mushrooms?
Yeah, he kind of taught me about food, the energy and electromagnetics, and so I kind of got, okay, maybe not eating dead food. And then I moved to California after this job in Hawaii. Studied with Landmarks Forum, worked with Tony Robbins with the health department where they had the health program. And then I heard about Robert Cassar about when I was 20. And then someone took me to introduce me to Robert. And then I learned a lot from him. He gua sha'd me to the point of black and blue for 3-4 days. I was seeing aliens on the electromagnetic beds of, what are the star crystals. I was telling him aliens came and they pinned me down in the middle of the night. He's like, that's normal. It happens to me every night. I was like, okay, I'm in this crazy world. All right, I understand. And then I went to study microbiology with Dr. Young when I was 20. Robert was really kind of well known for the alkaline approach to cleansing your tissues and stuff like that. So I've been lucky enough throughout my life to now to get constant updates with Robert and keeping me on the path of his learning the last 15 years and doing my best to stay on integrated and learning and teaching and sharing that. So then kind of after I kind of delved more into holistic health and healing, I found myself moving to Brentwood and working with a lot of celebrities and professionals and royalty and flying around the world teaching holistic health kind of in I'd say the upper echelon community. And I did that for a really long time, probably 5-6 years. And then I stopped working, doing that one-on-one. And Robert was always saying, you know, save your money, get out of the matrix. You know, so about 28, I kind of retired from that, moved back to Hawaii. And just recently continued studying holistic health, medicine, every form of, I've probably got 38 certificates. I don't use them all. But I just finished a master's degree in spiritual psychology, studying consciousness, health, and healing. So it's a non-drug, non-disease approach to holistic health, more towards the mind-body. It was out of UCLA in Santa Monica. I did that for a while. Robert used to say I was a sorceress, and I thought that was interesting. So I studied Ghanese medicine, spiritual medicine from Africa, and that was a lot of true plant medicine and sorcery with connecting with spirits and the elementals, and using that for healing, which was very powerful. I went, from Ghanese, West African spiritual healing. So they use.
Is the practice from the country of Ghana?
Yeah, I was working with elders, like 7,000-year-old traditions, kind of like the stuff they talk about in the Bible, so to speak, trying to leave no stone unturned. So I've just had a lot of different journeys throughout my life, learning about anything about health and wellness and healing. But it all comes back to the idea of, I guess, avoiding suffering and kind of wanting to be someone that had an answer when something was wrong, or helping people with healing. And it's been a journey for myself to just spend a lot of time with people influential in different fields of holistic healing, medicine. A lot of my friends own supplement companies, or teachers, or doctors, or whatever. So just being involved in that industry, and I'm glad to be here to kind of come down from, I'd say, like working with elite type of community and more like rootsy, and kind of grounding it and being more available to community instead of just so available just to one person that has a lot of money, and, you know, being kind of owned, so to speak, by working for one person or this family or this group of people. So I'm excited to be here and, you know, taking the time to be in the community, and then see how I can make my life in the future about being a part of community and teaching, and in a different way. So that's what I'm here to do, and I'm so grateful for everybody. I feel like I've already...
Well, lifetimes of journey.
Yeah. And I'm just so grateful to be here with all these people. I feel like I'm already amongst like family and friends, and the team here we're with. We have such a like heartfelt synergy, and I feel like I know everybody, and we have common friends, and which is pretty beautiful. And we're here to support, and I'm here to help anyone and to learn as much as possible. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Asana. I'm also feeling really grateful to be here with all of you, with this beautiful group, and to share in this experience, this transformational journey for you all and for myself as well. My background, I was born in Bulgaria, and for the longest time, I've always believed in our body's natural ability to heal itself. And I think that comes from my father, who taught me to listen to your intuition and allow your body to heal itself. So I've always held on to that. And for the longest time, I've been fascinated with the human body. So I've had a lot of experience working in exercise therapy. I've always been into sports, and I started out in physical therapy, and shortly thereafter, after I graduated, we had relocated to Canada, and that's where I did my studies in physical therapy. But I realized once I got into practice that, wow, you know, physical therapy alone wasn't enough to help my clients to truly heal. And so I learned that there are far more dimensions to health and well-being than just physical, mental, and even emotional, and communal and energetic. And so I've started to branch out and go into mindfulness practice and go into yoga therapy and combining East and West in my own healing practice. And for my own personal healing journey, fasting was something that I learned early on. and I did apply it to help heal myself. My mother had a skin condition called psoriasis, and one day I experienced a eczema rash all over my body, and it started to spread like fire, and it was really scary, and I had to find a way to heal myself because I realized that Western medicine wasn't going to do that for me, because what they offer is steroids, and those seem to just inflame the condition and make it way worse. And so I did liver flushes and I did fasting, and I was able to heal myself, and when it happened again I was able to do it quicker. And so I've used a lot of the protocols that Dr. Cassar teaches about in some way or another. And so when I was introduced to your work, it definitely resonated with my intuition. And so I was really grateful when this opportunity came up through Carlos to be here, to learn more, and to share in this experience with you all.
Where are you from?
I was born in Bulgaria, and then at the age of 7 relocated to Canada, where I grew up. And now I live in California, in the South Bay area. Toronto.
Toronto.
Yes.
Yeah,
Rob is from Toronto.
Yeah.
He's born there.
Okay, wow.
California, are you?
Now I'm in South Bay Area.
South Bay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Like Oakland.
Yes. And moving to Santa Cruz shortly, once I'm done with this retreat.
My last name comes from Bulgaria.
Does it? I heard it, and I thought, oh, that sounds Bulgarian.
Yeah. I mean, my family came from northern Macedonia.
Wow.
We always celebrated everything Greek, everything Greek.
Yes.
But the only people who have the Tanchef name, there's, through the Facebook, right? Because nobody ever had my last name until, recently. There's some people at Tanchef, and so they said, no, that name is Bulgarian.
Yes.
So Bulgarian people will recognize my last name, but Greek, no. They're like, no.
Yeah, as soon as I heard it, I thought, oh, are you Bulgarian?
I guess maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe because the borders must have,
Yeah, well, I highly recommend you visit.
at one time, or, you know what I mean?
The Balkans are a beautiful part of the world, and I mean, my grandparents grew all their food. We ate everything organic. It was just very normal, a very natural way of living. And so,
Old school.
but yeah,
Same where I was from, Malta.
yeah.
You don't hear my name too often either, right? Cassar, same thing. Other side of the world, man.
You think it's Caesar.
We just work for something. Yeah, that's what Cassar is. You work for Caesar. Cassar, C-A-E-S-A-R, C-A-S-S-A-R. You worked either for the church or for the military protecting Rome. So you built their castles, their underground. You're the king, let's say. Who do you think built your castles? How did they, you had to find the underground to make it so you could even get out of the castle. For some reason you had to. Where do you store your gold? You figure out a good place where no one knew. So, yeah, no, the Cassar, the Cathars, Catholicism, the Caesars, they're all church names. Just means you work for the church. Yeah, church names.
Yeah, so now I do offer, besides physical therapy services, I do yoga therapy. I use certain acrotherapeutic yoga positions in order to help heal the body. I also do energy work, which is something I discovered about 1.5 years ago, that I have this ability to unblock chakras just through touch, and also do acupuncture and dry needling, but I'm not allowed to do that here in California. Just got registered to practice here as a physical therapist, which was, yeah.
With your friends.
Yeah.
Dry needling therapy
is when you stick the needle in to help
Yeah, but it's a
help healing.
Yeah.
Super helps.
It's an amazing, amazing technique.
Is it? Yeah, dry, yeah.
Tell me what it is.
Yeah, dry needling is you find trigger points in the body, or you find the motor point of a muscle, so you can elicit a contraction. The muscle will contract really rapidly and strongly, and then release all tension. So it's a really powerful technique. It's quite more invasive than just acupuncture, and the needles that you use are thicker. And yeah, it's really powerful. You go right in. Yes, yes. I will needle everything. Yep, and you can needle calcified, like osteophytes, and have some resolution there.
Beneficial.
Yes.
And does anybody know a dry needle? You ever had that done to you before? How about anybody, has you ever heard of it besides heard of dry needling? But no one's just, yeah, no, dry needling is one of the special,
A lot of spine surgeons and stuff offer that, physical therapy.
I think the reason too is partly in California why they're not allowing it is because the TCM community has a stronghold on acupuncture. But also it is a little bit more risky, so if you're not familiar with the human body, you can cause damage. So you have to have a really keen understanding of where...
The chiropractic board in the state of Hawaii was, had no stance. And I waited for a long time. And then the acupuncture board finally said, we own dry needling therapy in the state of Hawaii. So I was like, okay.
Does it dry
You own dry needling therapy even though you don't even teach it or use it. Okay, that's great.
Someone's got to speak up.
Yeah.
If they want things to change.
That's the problem with all the jobs. The physical therapists, they have their little box. You know, the acupuncturists, they've got their box. The doctor of chiropractic got their box. The naturopathic doctors have their box. The medical doctors, you have your box. You can only write petrochemicals. You can't take x-rays. You can't even read x-rays. You have to attend to a radiologist. You have to hire a physical therapist.
Departmentalized.
I mean,
Right.
It's
The whole is
weird.
it's all segregated.
Insurance
keep people
companies
confused.
in the state of Hawaii want chiropractors to do nothing except do a chiropractic
Adjustment.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like, how is that going to help people? They're inflamed. And
Exactly.
They got
Exactly.
They're strong.
We are multi-dimensional beings.
Their stronghold, their position on trying to be able to, like the dry needling and guys, it's just making a free for all. Okay, if you can help somebody learn, get certified, and go ahead and teach it, so what?
Yeah.
It's just
They won't even let people use the practitioners and stuff that they...
Yeah, that's
even being
Everything's
trained
lightening
in
up
it,
now.
still the state
Halfway through the circle.
decides whether you can use it or not.
And I'm lucky, I graduated in 1984, you know, where you could do a lot of
Thanks
things.
to us.
They just kept tightening it down, tightening it down, and tighter and tighter and tighter. So if you're a graduating doctor now, you're 2010.
Oh yeah, with the
you know what you're missing.
But a PT, you should be able to do dry needling therapy in California.
In Canada, I was able to do it. Not in California.
Really? Are you licensed in California?
I am now, yes.
I think you have to be under a doctor though.
Dry needling.
There's currently a big divide between the TCM practitioners, the acupuncture community, according to traditional Chinese medicine. They're not allowing it. Yeah. So that might change. I'm hoping it does.
I'm pretty sure PT in Hawaii
Can do it. So I have to come here then.
No, you have to be under a doctor. If you're under a doctor's license, you can do it.
In California, you can't.
No, you have to be working with under a doctor's license.
But even in California, if you're working under a doctor, you still can't.
But in the surgery center, my doctor,
Yeah.
he has the physical therapist do the needling because they're practicing under his license.
Okay. I'm willing to do that.
Practicing under a medical doctor's license.
Some of the licenses, you know, you go to this.
Thank you, Asena.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you all.
You've got a lot of talent.
Super talented people.
Yeah, a lot of people here with a lot of talent, so that's, you know, everybody could use it. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, my name is Norbert. I'm from the Netherlands. And yeah, so I have some experience with fasting. I watched some videos on YouTube. Watched the documentary Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead.
Oh yeah.
So and that after that I started introduced to juice fasting. I wanted to do at least 2 weeks, so I started first one and it was 2 days, and after that I needed the hunger cravings were so big that I need something to eat, so I quit. Then I started again and I do 4 days of fasting and I can't go through, so I also have to stop it. And then the third time I go straight to a 40-day juice fasting. And it was, the first 30 days was on juice, and that was amazing. A lot of energy. Only the first week it was hard, but after that, I just, when I got some hunger, I just drink, and yeah, I can work out. I did swimming, yoga, fitness on a lower level, but I still can, if I did it. Then I wanted to try water fasting, so I tried for one day, and it was too hard. So then I did 4 days on coconut water. Then I tried again water fasting, and I did complete a 3-day water fasting, and the last 2 days I did juice fasting. So at the end I finished a 40-day fasting, and in between the fasting I did also colon hydrotherapy, and I see a lot of black stuff came out of me, so it was really necessary. I did also the liver flush. And that was it. And then I wanted later on try again the fasting, but it didn't work out. So I did some 1-day water fasting, a 2-day water fasting. I did 3-day water fasting, but I want to go further than that, but that was too hard for me. And I did last year, I booked a vacation to Thailand, and I wanted to do a juice fast on coconut water, but I don't know, there was something with my mind. I was too weak. I just, I can't, I didn't, because I was too weak. So it just the environment. So I was looking on YouTube and came to Robert Cassar. I saw some videos, and I thought, I need some institute, a retreat like this, where I get also workshops, cursuses, in this environment. So that was my reason to come to here, and and I hope I'm gonna learn a lot, and gonna use it on my own, and gonna help people close to me. So that's it. At the moment, I am working as freelancer in the catering.
Oh, nice.
So I prepare food, making coffee, and and it's funny because when I am free and I doing some water fasting, and I was at home, it was really hard for me. And when I was at work and preparing food, I can do the water fasting. It just the mind is. I need to be distracted. So
it's hard when you're around.
What you're creating, correct?
Well, I let to do what my colleagues taste if it needed. But
the smell, you got to think, yeast, mold, fungus, and candida. You smell certain things and you start salivating. Are you salivating, or what lives inside you making you salivate too? So you have to be in a place where you're not like tease. It's like a person who does cocaine. He's got 2 lines sitting on the table there.
Yeah.
And he's just going to watch it all the time. But he's looking at it saying, I can beat it, I can beat it, I can beat it, okay? Or just a person has sugar. Okay, whatever addiction you have. Tobacco. You haven't smoked, you got that tobacco thing sitting there. And after a while you go, oh, okay, I got to do it. So smells are a big picture that I've seen, and one of the best things here too is high levels of oxygen makes you so you could go ahead and feel like you could do fasting really good. You got ions off the ocean right here, which are really
it's the clean air.
Super clean, and then you have ions from all the waterfalls. So you have waterfalls here 2-3 miles that way, probably 3 or 4 miles that way, and that's it. These are underground springs that come from Hawaii, and the rest of the waterfalls, the waters you see, they come from the rain only. So that's, these come out of the ground. They're artesian wells. So the water that comes out of the ground that you see over here, 500 feet up from the river up there, it comes right out of the ground. And so when you'll get more rain, it'll come in, but it's constantly throwing freshwater ions here and saltwater ions. So you have a super amount of really energy. You're going to dream really, really strong here too. Really strong. Try to remember your dreams in the morning. You know, meditation to me is before you go to bed. Try to think, move like we talk about energy workers here. Try to focus your energy just on the top of your head and see if you can get your hairs to start making. See if you can start to go ahead and just concentrate while you're sleeping, while you're laying on your back. Okay? And we'll go over this, how you can go ahead and do this, but this is how you can start moving your own energy. Because it's not easy to go ahead and learn how to move your energy until you really are in a relaxed state and in a place where there is energy around you. Because if you're around Wi-Fi, you're around all these different types of radio frequencies, how could you move energy when your energy is just being taxed all the time? And then once you learn these things like this, you find out that you can really change a lot of things, because a lot of it just that's mind games.
Yeah.
This fasting is mental, it's a mental mind game.
Yeah.
And so everybody here is submitting, voluntarily submitting to be able to do this. And so on your own, this is why also, Mark knows, we don't take any, I don't care what monies you want to get. If you don't come here and volunteer by yourself, if your wife sent you here, let's say, or your daddy sent you here to punish you, because you you are the rotten apple of the group, and you will ruin this group with your crappy energies, because everybody needs to volunteer to want to do this.
I've screened, and I don't know if you take it as a compliment or not, but I've screened and everybody here.
Yeah. So that's why we get these good groups here, is because, and Dr. Nick knows, he used to do it before. What a job.
That's a full-time.
Just to get a good group, because I have 20, 30 inquiries a week.
That's too busy.
So you guys, we have to sift through a lot of people just to be able to find the right type of people. Okay, to make it so everybody can thrive together. Because you get that one, if you're, let's say your husband's sending you here, it's because you don't go there, I'm divorcing you. I want you to lose 25 pounds. Okay, whatever the case may be, then you're no good for us.
Because I'm not ready.
Yeah, no, you have to submit to, this is volunteer, it's a mind prison here. And if you go into this beautiful mind prison, because we're all in the same prison, and we're trying to break out of it. Okay, and this is the best part of this like support group. And you have all these other people here, like I said, there's a lot of knowledge here. There's a lot of, and you can hear, guys, never fasted before. Because you're in an area where you can. 14 days. That's ridiculous. Okay? I mean, to go to do a 7-day fast is ridiculous if you could do that just on water. 14 days, okay, means that there has to be something here to make you so you're getting, remember, it's not just getting energy from nowhere. You have to have ions in the air, fresh air, the sun. Your body's a flex fuel machine. Yeah, you're not eating anymore, so what? Now you're getting magnetic energy when you walk on the ground from free ions. Okay, you're breathing it in the air, so your body will, in time, start to go ahead and accept these types of energies, which is actually you're feeding yourself. Because if not, it is pretty much impossible to do 14 days of water in a crappy in the city, breathing all exhausted, smelling pastries every morning. Okay?
It can be done. It's done here. I don't know any place else that I could think of that it's an accomplishment with some ease. I mean, a lot of ease compared to where doing
this is easy to do fasting here.
Yeah,
because you go to places, and you can go to fasting places. We're going to keep you busy. Because your mind.
That's what I need.
It has to. Once you go through these first 3 days, is the hardest time of your journey here, and then after that, piece cake.
You can go.
It's piece cake. So the first 3 days, you have to go through this. I feel like I got to do something. If you sit around, you just got to keep busy for the first little while, and then that's sort of like an addictional person. If you're addicted to something, if I keep you busy enough, then you're not going to be thinking about what you are missing. Or feel you're missing. Or what's inside you that's telling you you're missing. Yeah.
Does anybody remember how the first thing I said to them was, submit your application? It's for your benefit. We're protecting you and everybody. We've had people in the past that ruined it for the rest of us. Because they came with the wrong intentions, the wrong reasons, and
we didn't have the discretion at that time.
Everybody else's experience. Yeah. So we're really, really, really careful now. There's who to come. It's like Dr. Cassar, I don't care what you want to say. It's like, no, it's not what this is all about.
have a question. How often should we do the fasting like this?
Depends on what you, first of all,
Every
need,
year?
what you're trying to achieve. If you want to go ahead and lose weight and get down to the desired weight, then fasting is something that you're going to want to continue to do. 48-hour fasts and such. Look, once you do these longer fasts like this, 48-hour fast is nothing. And you do that every week, and you're again, depends on what you need. If you're catabolized, then you don't really need to fast that much, okay, after you go through this reset. Then you're just on program to be able to animalize yourself, to build back up again. Okay, so let's say we want to catabolize you. I want to catabolize you. Okay, so anybody that's real thin, okay, in time you're going to animalize. Going to put more mass, animalize. Okay, so you catabolize, in your head to where you get down to the desired where you feel that you're as clean as you're going to get before, because you can only detox so much. It's like you can only water fast so much. And then you start going sometimes into a detriment system. Okay? Because a lot of people too, they have a little mental problem where they got to detox and detox and detox and detox and detox, but there is a time where you need to rebuild and rebuild. I see that in a lot of people. It's sort of a mental thing. They're detoxing too much, and you have to take time, rebuild, and if you want to detox again, squeeze that sponge in. But you can't just keep squeezing the sponge and squeezing the sponge. You have to feed the body too. Especially, vitamin A, E, K, creatine, creatinine, taurine, all different B vitamins, things that your body needs just to have superior function for regeneration. So the reason why we don't do Wi-Fi here, not Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, is because you need sleep. And if you have Wi-Fi at your house, these are things you're going to have to change at your house. Not even fasting. You're going to go home and you're going to have to switch some things around. Okay? Wi-Fi, if you use it, then shut it off at night. Get a Wi-Fi cage to cut down the transmissions by 90%. And if you can, hardwire. Hardwire. Just go back to old school. And if you have to use your phone, well, we'll show you different ways. Look, I'm wearing protective. Those are silver underwear.
What about those devices?
Protect my boys.
Those devices.
And you're a female, you don't have any boys. Your boys are right here, your ovaries. So you'd have a shirt like this. Okay, if you're going to go ahead and have to go to work, and you have to go ahead and go to in Wi-Fi, then you need to protect yourself. If not, then what you're doing is that you're constantly, like you were working that IT in time. You watch the IT guys, and you just watch them year to year. You're not getting better, because we have a family company. Mark worked there, 12 years over there? Okay, 350 employees, and there's a big IT section. And these guys come in, these studly IT guys, when they first start, and in 5 years, every year, okay, every year, they're aging, they don't sleep, they're gaining weight, they're hungry all the time. Why are you hungry? It's because this RF frequency is making you nervous all the time. And you feel it's hunger, but it's really not hunger. It's nervousness from constantly of this RF frequency. So I want to show you what you can't hear with my acoustimeters and different things, so you can maybe get one at your house to see how much of this noise is in your dwelling, your sanctuary. This is your sanctuary for right now. Guess why I have all these big crystals here too? They're not just for plugs. They go ahead and they sort of diffuse a lot of the, I call stupid energy or dysfunctional energy. So crystals do make you feel happy. I don't even have my little crystal and I feel like I'm lost. Okay, because it grounds me. So everybody gets one of these here. I like to give them to everybody on the 7th day, but if you guys want one, I'll give it to you in the beginning. But sometimes in the beginning, it's not as good, I found out, to give you a crystal is because it amplifies and harmonizes stuff. So you're going to go through 3 days worth of feeling not the greatest. So sometimes it makes you feel a little more nervous because it'll give you more energy. I want you to rest for a couple, 3 days. Okay, you need rest. When you feel tired, if you feel like taking a nap, then go take a nap. When's the last time you took a nap in the afternoon? Think. When's the last time? Really?
You're not allowed. If I take a nap, I feel guilty.
You feel guilty?
Yes.
No, I don't know.
So,
you can't even tell anybody you took a nap. What's the matter with you? What do you know?
No, I feel guilt in my mind. That's not.
oh, you're taking a nap. What's about an old person, yeah.
I can't take a nap, I know, because everyone throws their guilt, wants to pull you down, the crabs want to pull you back down out of the pot. So if you can right now, try to, like I said, you don't have any of this garbage from wherever you came from. You're a brand new person. You don't know anybody here, so you're a new person. You act the way you feel. There's no walls you have to put up with anybody. Everybody's here to be able to sort of like think of, just for 21 days, everybody's just a family right now. And that's the best way to think about this, so.
All right, let's hear the next stories and we take a nap.
It's nap time, but you had too much chocolate, so you ate that was your stuff.
Can lull you to sleep.
Feel it.
It's so therapeutic here.
Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Gerge. To make it easier, you can call me Greg, because it's
Call you what?
Greg.
Greg.
Yeah.
Greg.
My name is
Greg.
Gerge. Yeah. It's a Hungarian name, but it's really hard to pronounce it.
Yeah. Gotta go.
Gerge.
Gotta go.
He almost got it. Gerge. But yeah.
So the
That's
last
fine.
syllable
Let's do Greg.
is
Greg.
Yeah, you can say, hey, make it easy on yourselves. Just call him Greg.
Yeah.
I've tried several times.
I tried. Yeah. So I was born in Romania, and from a young age, it was pretty clear for me, like what I eat is gonna become my body, and I tried my best to eat the best way I can. Of course, I was eating everything, all the good bad stuff, but the good quality, yeah. And I was always learning and reading books, and one of my friend's girlfriend, she was a vegan, or a vegan, because she had a lot of health issues, and she got better. So one day I was talking with her, and she gave me the book, The Mucusless Diet Healing System, and I read the book. And after, yeah,
It's a good one.
so after I finished that book, I just couldn't eat anymore what I used to eat. I just couldn't. And our kitchen was full of good stuff, so I just stopped from overnight, and I went on a raw vegan diet, mostly fruits, because I love fruits. So I did this 6 months, but I was not feeling the best, and my health declined. And one day she sent me a video with Dr. Robert Cassar, so I saw the video, and it really got my attention. But I kept doing the fruit because I have a hard head, and I was also keep watching his videos, and I saw the videos with the parasites and how they are controlling us.
Elusive characters.
Yeah, so I really I felt I'm weak because those parasites are sucking my blood. So I thought that's why I am so weak. So I got really mad, and I decided to do something, and I went to a liquid fast, and I was using digestive enzymes and cayenne pepper and also some parasite herbs. And I did this 5 days, and the 5th day I was always checking what is coming out of me. So in day 5 I came out like a piece of alien. So it was dead. I mean, it was just a piece, or I don't know, it was a whole thing, kind of this big.
Like a snake?
I'm sorry? Snake? Yeah, it's just.
Well,
It's a tapeworm.
Twisty.
Yeah.
It's like all like.
Yes, exactly.
Probably part of
Yeah.
the rope parasite.
Yeah.
And they're usually 3 feet in adulthood.
It's not the tapeworm.
They could be 2 tapeworms. Are usually white ones are fish tapeworms. And then you got other little ones called Ascaris lumbricoides, which are like earthworms. And a lot of tapeworms just break off in pieces. It's not
Yeah.
a piece.
Yeah.
You can get one tapeworm, could be up to 40, 30, 50 feet.
So yeah. Most likely it was a piece, just a piece. Yeah.
Want to make them.
Yeah,
Well, and when you see one, you say, you know what? I believe. I don't have to believe anymore. I know.
Right.
I believe them. I know I have. Do they come out? I believe them.
Oh, you gotta take pictures too. So anybody that does have parasites that come on the toilet, I want to see pictures.
Yeah, I'm gonna make
Which one?
I have pictures.
In the parasite gallery that we have. Show you some of the
That's
stuff.
your trophy to the gallery.
We can make a nice album.
What's that?
You remember that I got one person
Yeah, he got a live one out. That's
Live?
That's the best way. So you can see him squirming.
This guy. This guy came out of.
Yeah,
Is that a scar record?
Tinea saginata.
I don't know.
Which one's that?
You know what is funny? That I went through all my education and they never told me that parasites were like something real. It was like, I was very skeptic. It was like parasites, no, I don't believe that thing. And
I had that when I was 20.
It was alive, I got it in my hand and it was like this worm moving around.
That's a really good book for people to have. I've had like 4 or 5 of them here, but people keep taking them home. So don't take my books. No, but this book is really good for people to read. It's called Parasite Rex, and it shows you the manipulation of parasites on creatures. How this little parasite makes this cricket jump into the water so something can eat it so it can go to the next life cycle.
I got
Okay?
it.
And you know how this is a good one by Carl Zimmer. This is a good one for everybody to read like 2 times. Just so you can get the genius alien creatures that you think this little thing is dumb. No, it controls you without you knowing it. And that's the best part of the demon. I call these demons. Okay, and you know, parasites are not something, you gotta look at them to sort of love them. There's not that many pictures in this book though. That's the only thing I don't like. There's a couple pictures in the middle. Like this is the fish tapeworm right here. You can see how big that thing gets right there. There you go. And like he was saying, like this, they're all different tapeworms here. Pig tapeworm, pork tapeworm, the Ascaris look like roundworms. I mean, anyways, there's some pretty cool things. These are that live in fish. They live, remember, you are the host for these parasites. They're not so much going to kill you, but they make you sick from the poop that they poop inside you. So if you get a manifestation of too many of them, they not only suck your blood, like Greg was saying, but what they do is once they suck their blood, they have to poop somewhere. And since they live inside you, they poop inside you.
This is the piece.
There you go. Nice. Let's see. Let me see. Oh, does it go big? Yeah, no, that's one of the beauties. There you go. He knows how to use the computer.
How about this?
You can swipe.
Oh yeah. Of course. How about you gave them to him? Yeah. You passed them down. Remember, parasites are true. A lot of them are symbiotic.
How can you treat them?
Well,
So to give one. I remember
swipe.
my mom, she gave us something, and I got one like that, but I was very young. After that, I never
This is not tapeworm.
handfuls.
That's the one I had.
We can
Yeah, it has
show
a white
some
line
good
through
videos
it,
if you
yeah.
guys want to see them. Of children getting these intestinal surgeries. They don't do them here, but they'll do them in Malaysia and China, and they'll do a small cut, and they'll pull the intestine out, and they'll cut the intestine, and they'll purge the intestine. I mean, this little kid's only like 6 years old. And they got a handful, this big of Ascaris lumbricoides earthworms, crawling all around, and they pull them out with these thongs. If you've ever seen those? I mean, it doesn't even look real, but it is real. And you hear these guys in the back going, spaghetti, spaghetti. That's the only thing you know. Looks like spaghetti.
It looks like spaghetti.
Looks like spaghetti. Yeah.
I'm never eating spaghetti again.
Well, you get it from infected flesh. All the fish here that are local, they're infected. because the people from the poop that whatever comes into the ocean, they eat the animals that are this fish eats this little tiny fish, and this little fish down here eats poop. Okay, so it travels up the line. So the only fish that you'd want to eat are pelagic fish, tuna, marlin. They don't have homes, like you said. Who said that? He said he's a nomad, or somebody did. Okay, fish that don't live in a place that's local. Local fish are garbage fish, is because humans have made them garbage.
Why?
They're sewage because of all the parasites that we have. They pass them down. The pigs have. They pass them down. So fish that are like wild salmon, wild means they don't have a home. These are pelagic fish. Tuna, they travel thousands of miles. They don't even sit in one spot. Marlin, wahoo, mahi-mahi. These are the only fish basically that you'd want to eat if you're going to eat fish. You don't eat bass. Bass lives from here to maybe that wall around. That's all he lives. He lives in this little place and he lives in this little cave. And he eats everything basically that's local. And if you did eat a local fish, it's only because you got it from a place that doesn't have humans around.
When we go back to food, is poke a good meal then?
Oh, I think poke is really super good.
Okay.
It's just basically, again, infected flesh is bad. Okay, and so, usually tuna are non-infected at all. And the younger the tuna, the better. Yeah, poke is one of the best ways for eating rich mitochondria. To rebuild your flesh, you eat live, denatured mitochondria too. Because a lot of people are so catabolized. Okay, remember, vegetables will catabolize you. They detox you and cleanse you. I mean, find me a bodybuilder that's got muscles that eats plants. Those guys lie. Like Kai Green and all these guys say, the game changers. That's just propaganda. Okay, and you ask any athlete, if you wanted to be a supreme athlete, of course you eat mitochondria. Okay, from similar based things that you are, but that has to be non-infective. If you eat infective flesh, any type, you get sick, you get parasites. Go ahead, Greg, sorry. Got me excited. Start talking about parasites. I'm gonna get excited.
Yeah, so after the water fast, I just had to realize this is not working for me, this fruit and vegetable raw stuff, because I developed liver problems and also kidney problems. Probably I already had before, but this was also another shock.
Yeah.
And I had a dream and I was eating meat in the dream.
Yeah.
Like liver.
Yeah, liver's the number one. That's the pharmaceutical warehouse out of everything you wanted to eat. If you had to regenerate yourself, 4 ounces of liver has 53,000 units just of vitamin A. It's got all your B vitamins. It's got everything that you could imagine. Vitamin A, D, E, K.
Really?
In 4 ounces of crummy liver. It's got to be grass-fed and grass-finished. If not, I wouldn't eat it. Okay, but that's
Yeah. So I had to realize I have to eat meat, and I was eating, and I felt better.
Yeah.
And my brain was functioning. And
how long were you on the fruit diet?
6-7 months it was, but I stopped it.
It's a fast.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much in my head, veganism is fasting, because you got to take 30 supplements to be able to even match a nutritional level of what they'd say you're not going to be malnourished.
Yep.
Okay, so if you're just eating vegetables only, or just having fruit only, and you're not taking any vitamin A, D, E, K, those fat-soluble vitamins aren't in any plants. You don't have creatine in plants. You don't have creatinine in plants. You don't have taurine in plants. You don't have any of these essential microminerals, so you can only last so long till your eyes start sucking in your head, or you start getting sanpaku eyes, which your eyes start bulging out and you start seeing 3 whites in your eyes, which happens to a lot of fruitarians, a lot of vegans, a lot of people. So there's a sort of a balance there where you can only go so far before your body. And some people can go a lot longer than other people.
Yeah,
they can break
that's
down
why I was
plants.
wondering. Yeah, some people. Yeah.
Yeah, some people can.
So.
And we'll talk about all those types of things. And again, remember, it's up to everyone that wants to go ahead and venture. Remember, the truth's the truth, no matter which way you want to, slice it up. And you can only really tell by people that have been doing these types of diets for 15 years already. Let's see if 5 years worth of the diet you're on, are you faster, quicker, and smarter, and are you better than you were when you started? That's unenjoyable. I don't care what they say. I don't care what the research says. And what happened to you when you did it? And what happened to you when you did it? So you get a chance now to be able to sort of weigh and measure what other people have done that you may be just touching the water and saying, I think I'm going to dive in the water and give it a try. So, again, I had too much chocolate now.
Me too. So yes, and I also, when I introduced like bread again, I immediately felt it's like it knocked out me. Like I was eating a piece of bread, and after 10 minutes I just passed out and I slept like 2 hours. Like
Grains are
straight.
poisonous. You want to learn one thing? You want to eat whatever you want to eat. Don't eat grains ever again.
No.
Just don't. And if you get healed, whatever you are, then eat some grains and see what happens to you.
And yeah.
Well, those are grains again. If you want to go ahead and stay. See, for me, if you really are malnourished, you want to stay away from all fiber as much as you can. Fiber absorbs all your minerals and it plugs up your intestinal tract a lot of times because fiber, remember, is insoluble. And it needs to go ahead and be broken down by fermentation. You can't, that's why they call it insoluble fiber. And a lot of people that get polyps in their intestinal tract, I sent you Sean's, this was clean as a whistle, okay? People have polyps in there and it's an insoluble fiber. It gets stuck in it and it starts growing in there and it's a big problem for a lot of people.
They advise to eat fiber.
And they tell you to eat fiber, they tell you not to have saturated fat, they tell you not to have cholesterol too, and your brain's made of it. Remember, there is a thing here that controls 7 billion people and it's not easy to control your children. So, yeah, there's a lot of different, and like I said, if you guys want to get into some of that stuff, we'll talk about a lot of different pieces here that, of course, don't believe me, but then again, there's a lot of people out there that are doing deeper research now instead of just following what they say, the big journals say, because there's a system that wants to feed me.
I have a question. When I was doing microbiology, we were doing scrapes with your teeth and your gums, putting them under a microscope. You can see like all sorts of bacteria, viruses, parasites, E. coli, and then we'd have everyone swish with bicarbonate salt, and then you scrape again and you wouldn't see anything. So I was wondering, because it obviously works so well in the mouth, do we have people do that in the program, swish with salt, because a lot of the bacteria actually comes up?
We have a mouthwash that works
Then
really good for
tested.
people that we go ahead and
Bicarbonate
share.
salt.
There's 2 different types, the basic mouthwash, and there's another one if you've got infected gums or you want to just clean house inside there. Yeah, that's a lot of different protocols like that. But your body is bacteria.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you're more than 10 pounds of, if you don't have bacteria, you die. So is it good bacteria or bad bacteria? It's the ecology of your body. And so, as they say, you are what you eat. And if you detox yourself too much, you're going to detox yourself a lot with different types of things.
Yeah.
So then you need to make sure that your biome is diverse. Having 10 or 15, they only legally let you sell about, I think, 15 bacteria in the United States for probiotics. We're in this business. I think in Canada, they only let you sell 9 or 12 of them. Okay, even though there's, let's say, hundreds of thousands.
They let you sell 23. Ours was 16. We did our own. I formulated for us at the company.
But most of them are bacteria from subbacteria. But I think there's only like 15 true ones or something. And then you can take the subbacteria that are in the same file.
They have similar functions, yeah.
But if you really wanted to grow your biome back, you would eat grass-fed nutritional animals that eat off the soil. They eat, soil-based organisms are in the soil. This is your biome. And so a ruminant animal, eats grass and it eats the bacteria, and its whole body has this bacteria swimming through you. And you can eat the dirt. They say, yeah, go ahead, try and eat the dirt, but you'll get sick. It's because something has to go ahead and actually eat it first, transpose it, put it in a system. But if you cook that piece of flesh, you destroy the bacteria, so you're wasting your time too. So this is where you said the raw pokey. Now you can get the biome from that animal, which is healthy as healthy. Okay, it can eat anything it wants to pretty much. And then same as a sheep or a goat or anything else, these are ruminants. They ferment their chambers and they eat from the grass. Now anything that's being fed dry food, anything that's being fed grains at all, remember grains are poison. Half the flesh you see in the store over here, and I'll show you, it's flesh let's say from Walmart, and that means it's just conventionally grown. And so you take soy, wheat, any type of thing that humans won't eat because it's moldy, okay?
Yeah.
And they feed it to the animals, and mold makes estrogen. They put mold pellets in the ears of the cattle to do what? To make them fat. So they get high estrogen. So all these cattle are diabetic. And so you're eating this flesh that has been pushed to get fat because the farmers want to make cash. Okay? So remember, the more estrogen that you put in your body, and your body is the worst thing you can do. So let's say even if you're a vegan, that's fine. Then you're cutting out all of the phytoestrogenic plants because you don't need any estrogen. Do you think you do? Really? You want the estrogen? You want to get man boobs? Go ahead, eat the soy. Then they call them soy boys. Okay? Eat the flax. They'll tell you the flax is good for you. Yeah, because it's got a little DHA in it. Yeah, you got to drink the whole friggin' bottle. Okay? Or you can have a piece of fish and it's loaded full of DHA and EPA for your brain. So you see a lot of people that have been on certain diets and they're pretty loco. Okay? They got the San Paco eyes, their eyes are bulging out because they have intracranial pressure, so their eyes are bulging through their head. And if that's happening, don't bother those people because they're crazy. Yeah? I mean, there's a ton of guys you can watch on the internet that show you. They have San Paco eyes, and all it takes is one little thing and they snap. Really? And then you see long-term vegan people, remember your brain, no cholesterol. This is why I always said the miracle of eggs. You better eat eggs. It's got to be good eggs, though, not ones full of glyphosate. They remember chickens eat meat and fruit and vegetables. That's what they eat. They eat basically insects, which is just meat. Okay, they're carnivores. And when you get an egg, you can tell if it's yellow, it's garbage. If it's golden, it's the golden egg. Okay, and that's got all the good stuff. And it's got the stem hormones. It's got all the remember 14 days. Well, anyways, like I said,
Brain here till midnight.
Help us to move on here.
don't get me started on parasites.
Yeah,
What
so
brings you here today?
to free myself from all that stuff
Revitalize yourself.
which doesn't belong to me. And also I had a mushroom experience, so it was 4 hours unbelievable feeling.
And you've heard people say, look, she said mushrooms, okay, entheogenic. Well, what is that? How many people have not touched entheogenic plants? Entheogenic, what does that mean? Entheo.
In God.
In God.
life.
Entheogenic plants. These are not hallucinogens.
One
You're not
word.
hallucinogens. That's
I
LSD.
hate that word.
That's that crap.
Entheo.
Okay, these are entheo. These are entheogenic plants, and if you're an entheogenic biologist or botanist, you'd have to test every one of these plant medicines out. And you're going to say, whoa. Whoa. No wonder they don't want anybody touching these things, because they want you to believe you came from a monkey. They want you to believe there's nothing other than this world form, instead of there is another world beyond this world that you can see.
No, we're
We
chocolate.
have 4 more.
Okay.
You got 3 weeks to talk.
All right. So I'm Naomi. I am from Florida. I grew up in the jungles of Bolivia. I spent my childhood in like the Amazon rainforest. Sorry?
From Bolivia?
Well, I grew up there. That's not where I'm from. I mean, my mom's actually from Hawaii. So, my parents are both American, but I grew up there, so.
So your father is Bolivian?
No.
Oh, okay.
White.
Oh, okay. He's
Gringo.
living down there.
Yeah, gringo, you know. Yeah, just living there.
What part of the Amazon did you live in?
Bolivia. Well, Bolivia, but in the Beni, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Have you been to Bolivia?
What brought your parents to Bolivia?
Well, they were very interesting, and they are kind of missionaries. I mean, they were kind of preparing for like the apocalypse. But yeah, helping people, and they loved it. You know, free and natural, and at the time it was quite safe. And you know, I grew up on a farm with everything, and so it was just that
kind of free lifestyle, being in touch with nature, and so yeah, big family, nine children, so a big jungle family. And yeah, so I mean, I was always very healthy until I wasn't. Until that happened. I had like a burnout maybe like 3 years ago, so I was like 26 years old, you know, and I could always, even though I was really hard on myself in my early 20s, like partied a lot or whatever, you know, early 20s. And then I just crashed, 26, burnout, just like, couldn't function, you know, can't focus, can't think, depressed, you know, all this stuff. So it's been 3 years now that I've been on this journey of like healing, and I'm much better now. Still like, you know, only a percentage of, you know, I have a lot more to go to be 100%. And every time I was like having a really bad spell, I'd be like online, like water fast. So it's like 2 years ago, I've been like looking at these water fast like clinics all over, and like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and it just never, I don't know, you know, it was like I was gonna do it, and I'm like, oh, I'm better, and then so yeah, actually 10 years ago, my sister was showing me videos of you. She's like, look at this wild man in Hawaii. Look at how he's doing this gua sha and all this stuff. It's like, oh my God. So she's actually the one that got me here. She's like, you gotta go. And I was looking at a clinic in like Sedona, but it's just a water fast. So the reason I came here is because there's so many more elements to it, you know, like detoxing and all the stuff, and I really want to learn. So I want to be able to take it back in my life, and you know, be able to reboot whenever I need to, and have this like an amazing tool. And yeah, I'm actually studying a nutrition course at the moment, kind of part of my self-healing and trying to figure things out. So yeah, I'm really excited to learn all about this. It's super interesting, and I've done a few fasts, and like my mind cleared up. Like I did like I did like master cleanse for like 4 days, and then like soups for a couple days, and last year, and I was like, wow, I could think again. So I was really like, oh, I really have to do this intense fast and like just go for it, and once and for all just really knock it out. I mean, as best I can. And yeah, so I'm very excited. I literally decided to come here 5 days ago.
I was just gonna say, I'm so impressed with her. She'll tell you that I put her through the ringer. I didn't think she could do it. This girl is driven, she's on purpose, she's focused. And I go, you got it going on, because I didn't think she could do it in such a short notice. And she kept on saying, I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen. I said, well, can you do this, can you do that? And she did, so she's here. I got to commend you.
I was super excited. Yeah, it was like the 10th. I woke up, my sister sent me the dates, and I was like, wow, there's one starting on the 15th. I'm like, no way. I was in Mexico, and I didn't really have any plans for I was gonna stay in Mexico for the next 2 months. And I was like, wow, I actually am not for once traveling or moving anywhere. I'm like, I could go. I'm like, this would be an incredible start to 2020. Like, oh my God. I'm like, no, but I have things to do, and I've been traveling. I need to just chill for a little while. And then I woke up and I was like, what do you think? She's like, definitely do it. If there's a spot, it was meant to be. I like emailed you were like 30 minutes later. I had it all booked by the end of the day. I was like, I'm going to Hawaii. It's like, bam. I was like, I still can't believe it. But
and that's good, because most people are procrastinators and they let it go. Because that was at the end there. We only had remember it's only like a space or whatever it was, when a couple people switch around. We used to booked all the time.
Yeah.
Like a couple people switch to another, they have to get something happen in the family, they can't come, or something happens.
Yeah, you're all here for a reason. Beyond explanation, because we've had this thing fully booked for a while, and some of our people chimed in and they said, I had this crisis in my family and my mom, or whatever the case may be.
Husband,
and it
wife,
left some spaces open for some people that would have normally not been there. So, the universe opened up for you.
Yeah,
you too.
I feel like things were just like happening. I mean, I started this year strong. We did ayahuasca ceremony for New Year's. I did quite a few ceremonies in December, and we were just going into 2020 like bam, and things start falling into place. I feel like when you're in alignment and you're like on the path, things are happening faster. So I really feel like super grateful to be here, super excited, and it's cool because I haven't had much time to like worry or think about it. I was just like, bam, like.
You showed me, because I called her out a couple times. Well, I broke bloggers like, you got to get your application in first. Just like, bam, in your face. Here it is. Okay, now you got to do this. Bam, in your face. So
I was like, yeah. So I want to heal. I want to feel clear again and inspired and passionate and be able to do all the things I love and help people. I've seen my whole family. Come from a family very fit. Like you see my family, they're like ripped, gorgeous, but they're all really sick. Like really, really sick. A lot of them, and like in the last couple of years, I've seen everyone dropping. It's like autoimmune, Lyme's disease, really bad like stuff, and I'm like, wow, it's like an epidemic. And I've never really been sick. I never understood because some of my siblings were always sick. I'm like, I don't understand. What is this? So now I have like compassion and I understand when people are going through, it's horrible. It's terrible to feel like you're losing your life and you don't have motivation, you don't have inspiration, you can't think or function. It's horrible. So yeah, I don't know. It's just hopefully I can learn a lot and inspire people and help people. And I'm studying nutrition, so hopefully this will be very good for my journey and whoever I can help. So yay. Thank you all. I'm super, super excited. And yeah, you all seem so cool. So excited to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah, the IT man.
Hi, my name's IT Man. The reason I'm here is, I've come from the IT world and just sitting behind a computer and just taking in all those waves. I just, for the longest time I can remember, I just have suffered from chronic fatigue, brain fog, can't get up, can't read, can't do what I want to do, can't help people. It's kind of my main goal is to help people, and you can't help people if you can't help yourself. So what I've found through, my journey is just the fasting, I think, really is the end game. And this, I found Dr. Cassar on YouTube, and your stuff is really, really powerful. That's when I started doing a lot of infrared sauna work, and that really helped lift really dark clouds over me for a while, and that kind of led me to here. So I'm here in the right atmosphere to get this done, and hopefully tell others so they can get through it too, because we're all kind of battling the same thing to a certain extent. So.
And you worked as a genius, and you said you have brain fog, so how can you actually be the genius that you're supposed to be?
Right.
It makes you feel bad.
Right.
Because your brain was so tight before, and all of a sudden now you got brain fog, and you're supposed to be the genius that everybody pushes you to be.
Right.
Yeah, I hear that from a lot of IT guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to meet all of you.
All right. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Jansen. I grew up in Michigan, and I don't know, I guess last night we were talking in the kitchen about why we're here a little bit, and I said something to do with, I don't know, like my intestines and inflammation and all of that, and that's true to the extent that I feel like I'm uncomfortable every time I eat, and that there's a lot of work on a physiological level to do, but that's probably not really why I'm here. I think more it's like I feel like my life or my self-identity has been, I've allowed it to be determined by fear a lot of the time. And I've also realized that a lot of the things that I'm afraid of are things that I really love. And this sort of addiction to this emotional state of maybe not having to push myself because of fear of failure or whatever has made my life a little bit smaller than I would like. And I don't know exactly how it relates to specifically being here, like what the mechanization will be that like adjusts that for me, but it just sort of seemed right, and I ran into Dr. Cassar.
I knew into the store, that's right.
Yeah, just in the grocery store, and I said, "Hey!" Like I like had saw like a celebrity or something, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I kind of went to like scurry your way, and you were like, "Well, hi," and you talked for a few
I
minutes.
didn't even connected before. That's
Yeah.
right. I just met you just for that one couple minutes.
Yeah, it was just very brief.
Just boom, boom, yeah.
But it's, I don't know, maybe that in my life is like where I've had something in mind for a really long time, and I ruminate and don't allow myself the creativity or the opportunity to experience the thing like as it's actually happening, rather than trying to like understand it ahead of time. And so I'm kind of here just to go through the experience, and I'm sure I'll get exactly what I need. And
So, because you were going to come before.
Yeah.
We had to switch around. So this is the type of
No,
thing
you
that
got-
happens. A lot of people were
Yeah.
booked, and then someone had to switch, and someone got lucky on taking your space. Because you remember, you
I got
couldn't
sick,
come
yeah.
that one
But stuck
time.
with it and
then
came
someone
back.
else came in, and then you're, yeah. So
and,
now I
and
get
very
it.
grateful to you all for having me here.
Now I get it.
I mean,
Okay.
really.
Great.
Yeah. So, cheers.
Yeah, that was, thanks for clicking that together.
Yeah. You ran into him
At Abundant Life.
when you had already booked for the last one, or
No.
this was at a time before you'd ever.
Well, you were going to come do one of the retreats before, and then you couldn't come right at the last second or something.
No,
like that?
I just heard about it, and I was here just kind of for healing. And
But I met you in the store, and then
Yes.
you were going to come
oh
to
yeah,
that retreat.
so I booked the retreat, and then I got sick.
And you got sick. That's
I
what
lost
it
like
was.
20 pounds. Like
That's
had this
right.
bad bacterial infection. My immune system hadn't been really working for it
And he
seems like
tried
years.
so hard. He was hoping to get better, and he kept on
I
saying,
stuck
"Maybe in a
around. I
couple
was
of
like getting
days."
IVs, and
That's right.
I just
that's
kept
right.
getting
and then,
worse.
And then you didn't go to that retreat, and then someone else just like, you came at the last because someone else had to switch, from something that happened, family or whatever it was. All right, so you're here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And just, stoked.
Nice.
Well, he was the first one that rolled over. He was the first one in line.
Yeah, you were the first-
Oh, really? Yeah,
one
when
to
you
this
said
retreat.
that, I was like, oh yeah, please.
So everybody just stretch for a minute because it's going to be a while. I'm going to be here. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna try to make it short because I know you're tired. So my name is Heather. If what you say is true and we are from where we are born, then I guess I'm from Wisconsin.
That's all right.
But
Sound too exciting.
So a little over 20 years ago, I moved to Honolulu with my now ex-husband.
Oh, that's right. You live local here.
Yeah. So when I met you in Honolulu when I forgot her name. She worked at Abundant Life and she used to do yoga.
Oh,
Carolyn.
Yeah.
Yes, she moved to Washington.
That's right.
Yeah, so, and it was while I was going through my divorce that you approached me and you looked into my eyes and you said, I do stuff with irises and there's something going on with you or something. And then you told me about your kombucha, and I think you had just purchased this place or just were starting to create.
'Cause this was a while ago then.
It was it was quite a while ago, but you hadn't started, and so over the time, you were in classes and I was in classes and you were doing kombucha, and I knew you were a part of the community, but life leads us in different directions, and the long story is, at some point I had an unnecessary surgery, and I have never recovered. And I have been looking into ways to try to heal myself, or to not heal is wrong, to get myself to a point where I can heal properly, because they cut you open and they wrap you up and you get another infection, and then you have to have another surgery, and then they don't help you to heal, and they say, here's your bill and take some of these medicines.
Rounds of antibiotics.
Right.
And
kill your gut for
oh my goodness, and it's like I just kept feeling like I was taking all of these 2 steps backwards and then maybe 1 step forward and then like 3 steps backwards, and I wasn't really healing, and I wasn't feeling great. And then somewhere along the way, and I don't know if it was on a Facebook feed, and it may have been Carolyn, had posted something, and one of your YouTube videos or something, and I just went, you know what, maybe this is something that I need to do. So to bring it all together and everybody's stories, water to me is life, and this is an easy process. It won't be easy because I'm addicted to caffeine. So this is going to be an easy thing because I love water. I live on the ocean. I live across the street in Hakalau on the
Same view of the sun coming up in the morning.
I do, and I'm just literally right there.
Oh,
and
so you're living in Hakalau now?
I live Hakalau, yeah. So
Next to the post office?
no, actually between Umama and Hakalau. So on the ocean side, there's about 7 or 8 homes right there.
Yeah, I know where that's
So
at.
yeah, we have a house we have a saltwater pool. It's right on the ocean, and it's just, I wake up in the morning, the ocean is there, the whales are there, the pool is
So
there.
when you go in, you got the Mediterranean one to the right when.
Yeah,
and
so
you're to the left.
Leopoldino, and then you cross the
Lainani.
road?
Lainani. If you've ever been to the Lainani, it's the Mediterranean one. I'm 2 doors down from that on the left.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, it has a gate. Yes, that's our home. So that's where I've been living. We also have a home in North Lake Tahoe. So I go back and forth. I think I was talking to you about. I go because we haven't. So here's the deal. I have several businesses. I have a restaurant. I have that is basically a hotel. I have another hotel. I have a motel. I do a lot, and I'm now married to a man who had 4 kids. One committed suicide recently, and I have 2 of my own. So there's 6 kids. I've got so many employees that I'm in charge of, and it's like you. So to bring it together again is something that I read once from Anne Morrow Lindbergh, and it was a woman, a nurturer. She's like a pitcher, and everybody is our glass. And from this woman, we are filling everybody's glass, but how are we filling our pitcher? So this is to fill my pitcher. So I'm just trying to bring it together and make it short. So that's why I'm here, is to fill my pitcher.
All right. Okay. We've made it all the way around.
Back to ground zero.
Back to ground zero. And I won't talk too much because I've had too much cacao. So, okay, this is, like I said, this is a beautiful group. I mean, look around. Look at this group we got here. So, let the games begin. Yeah. No. Just for 2 weeks. And it's all in your head, remember that. And your stomach. Okay, guys. Does everybody know how to do the Aloha Chaka? Okay, there we go. Do a round up there. Oh, you know what? Hold on.
The last.
Wait, Mr. Carlos. Véngase, por favor. Viene. Okay. Here, jump over here. And we call Carlos. This is the main brother. And I really like, there's very few people that I really, can talk straight with Carlos, because I talk pretty much full gas pedal with Carlos. And I can't talk to full gas pedal. Full gas pedal means I'm not going to filter. Okay? And he doesn't mind. Okay? Because he keeps telling me, hey, I've learned so much from you, and I'm glad that you have full gas pedal on me. So there we go, full gas pedal, man.
I just want to say I'm super grateful as well to be here. It's an honor to be able to come out of the city. I live in San Jose, California, and come be a helper here at the retreat. Not only does it help me to help you guys, but I get to practice showing you guys different things. I get to integrate some of the things that Cassar has taught me and everyone that I've got to work with in the past. and it's just like a refresher. And let me tell you, I had a compromised immune system. I had heavy metal poisoning. I had mercury fillings, and I was just a person that was constantly getting sick. So coming in and fasting at the retreat really changed my life. I really boosted my immune system. Once I fasted, I lost a bunch of weight, and the only thing was like after I fasted, my hormones weren't like, I didn't have that. I need to rev up those hormones. And then what did we do? We took what herb? What was that herb that we took?
Well, yeah.
No,
yeah.
Tribulus. We got on Tribulus. No, there we go. We're back. Hormones are going again. So it was really good. But I do train martial arts. I'm a jiu-jitsu instructor. I'm a personal trainer. I do various other things. And so I really enjoy, being able to do that and being able to play with my body. I'm very into the body as well, into the mind. But yeah, so having my health back has been wonderful. And like I said, I love to train jiu-jitsu. I'm addicted to jiu-jitsu. I get to train all the time. It's fantastic. It's really fun, amongst other things. But like I said, I love it when Dr. Cassar, all my conversations and all the time that I've got to spend with him has really changed my life. I've taken what I learned from Dr. Cassar and Dr. Nick and Mark and Carmen when she was here and all these different people, and I applied it in my life. I was going to degenerate. I could tell I was going to degenerate really, really quick. At 26, somebody over here at 26 started degenerating. I was going to degenerate really fast. Started losing my hair, started messing up my teeth. I was just like, what's going on? What happened? Why am I deteriorating so fast? What's happening? And then and Bolivia's not here, the girl from Bolivia. So I ended up doing an ayahuasca ceremony, and I had a really good experience with ayahuasca. And so it was like a supercomputer, just like all my thoughts were just like, I was tired. I was going through all my experiences, and one of my experiences, and I tell Dr. Cassar, I just tell him, I don't know if he believes me or not, or it's just, you can't make this stuff up. And it pulled up. I had seen one of his videos on YouTube, and it pulled him up like, and it stopped from all the processing, and it just like, I was already coming out. I was coming back. I had a wonderful experience. I was coming back, pulled up his information, and this is what it said to me. It said, look deep into this man. He's been here before. Because when I went into the ayahuasca, I know you're not supposed to have an intention, but maybe you're supposed to, I'm not sure. But I didn't set my intention. I just what's already in my heart. And you already know what I'm going to ask. There's no reason for me to ask, but hey. So it answered my question, and I was like, why am I deteriorating so fast? And it said, look deep into this man. He's been here before. So basically what I did, that's all I said, right? So what I did, I started watching all his YouTube videos, and then I was like, oh, I get why you're telling me. So I started watching all of his videos and spending hours upon hours upon hours watching his videos. And I was a driver at the time. I was delivering fruit to tech companies at the time. And so I would drive and I'd be watching YouTube. I know I wasn't supposed to because of the RS, but I did it. It helped. Anyways, fast forward. So what I did, eventually, I was working with ayahuasca, and I was working with other entheogens, and he would just keep popping up. I didn't want to. I was like, no, I don't want to. I didn't even have the resources to come. And I was like, well, I told the universe, I was like, all right, look, if I'm supposed to be here, I'm going to come. You make it happen. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to focus. And so for whatever reason, all the things lined up, and eventually I ended up recruiting a team of people to come to the retreat. So I booked the retreat. I contacted Dr. Jessica, and I used her, and I said, I came to the island. I hopped over to the island because I wanted to meet him, and I used her. And I don't know if I ever told you this. I'm just telling you on video right now. I told her, I was like, hey, I want to come check out your retreat. I want to see the facilities. I really just wanted to meet Dr. Cassar. And so she showed me the retreat and and then I ended up meeting Dr. Cassar, and he came out. He was in his office at the time. And of course, I told him, hey, Dr. Cassar, I'm seeing my visions. Dude, some weird hippie kid, right? And did Dr. Cassar disappoint? No, he didn't. He totally performed to the max. And he's like, what he said was like, the universe works in mysterious ways. And then from there, he just dropped it. For like 2 hours, we had a conversation. We had people waiting outside for me. I was like, no, don't nobody come in right now. We're having a moment. Having my moment right now. So then I ended up booking the retreat, and I told him I'm going to come back in 3 months. And he was probably like, yeah, right. He was a kid. And I did. I booked a retreat, and I recruited the group. Reiko was one of them. I was just on them. I was everybody. I was on everybody. I was like, hey, we're gonna go to a retreat. Who wants to come fast? We're gonna detox. We're gonna change your lives. Who's ready for this? And I was on them and make sure you got their deposits, make sure they filled everything out. And then boom, we're here. We got the whole team and we got the whole retreat to ourselves and we tore it up. Yeah, it was great. We tore it up. We had a great time. This was all friends, right? So we had a great time. We had a great retreat and it changed my life. And so I started, kept in touch with Dr. Cassar and kept coming back and eventually ended up we had the opportunity to help. And in that time, I got to spend a lot of intimate time talking to Cassar and he, without his filter and his different personality. And I tell him, Dr. Cassar, I really appreciate you without your filter. I hope like eventually, you come out on film and you talk to more people that way, because I think more people just need to be hit with that type of talk. And I'm just very frank, and I appreciate being frank. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll tell you on camera right now, some of the conversations that we had made me feel really uncomfortable because they were so direct. And I'm like, Dr. Cassar, you can see right through me. But I needed that, but it hurts my feelings, but it's okay. But I appreciate you anyways, because it's true. And I needed to see it through your eyes. So thank you for allowing me to see myself through your eyes. And thank you for helping myself and everyone that you've helped. And, and here we go. Another round of participants. And, I hope to impact your lives and I hope that you can see yourself through my eyes as I'm going to see myself through your eyes. And I hope I can impact your life and inspire like Dr. Cassar has inspired me. So this is one of the most inspirational people in my life. And I know he doesn't like it, but in some weird way, I was going to say, I consider you, one of my mentors and somehow in my guides. And I see you in my visions all the time. And you're in my head. And I'm like, what would Dr. Cassar do in this situation? How do I fix this? What would he do? This hurts. What kind of potion can I come up with? So.
Oh my God, you were so excited when you visited him the first time. He called me on FaceTime and
yeah, it changed my life. And then I got to go back to my home and, in all my departments, not just in my health, but in my finances, in my relationships, like everything's been upgraded, enhanced, and optimized. Those are the trio. I love it. And again, super appreciate you and super appreciate everyone. And I'll cut it right there. Thanks so much.
All right, brother.
They asked you what you did for the heavy metal. Did you do more than just the fasting?
Yeah, we've done a lot of the IVs, the EDTA chelation with the IVs, a lot of EDTA, fasting sauna. Pretty much it. I'm still gonna do
I might still go to
20 IVs. I still got like a 20 IVs to go. They were not cheap though. They're not cheap. So.
And we found ways that are pretty much equal to the IVs without doing, because the IVs are, legally they want you to add minerals to the EDTA, and that takes a lot of the power of the EDTA away. So we stopped doing IVs just because they're not they're not really effective the way I want them to be effective. And plus, who wants to be poked in your needle so many times? All of a sudden, after a while, you need all these treatments. You got to sit there and wait for this thing to go through. And I did a lot of IVs just to go ahead and test it out. I feel more effective the way we use EDTA. We use EDTA with enema. I make an EDTA skin cream, which I'll show you guys how to do it. Okay, and we do EDTA orally like this. So this is 3 different. Watch out, Mark. The wire.
Still do the suppositories?
I don't do the suppositories. We just use the enema. You can make suppositories, but I found out that the suppositories irritate the colon a little bit because they sit. A lot of people have already irritated colons, so it's better. Like a lot of if you did 20 rounds of suppositories, you may start bleeding out of your colon because it's yeah. So because I've tried I try everything. And I tried way more than you guys will try just to see how much efficacy. I've taken 80 ounces of turpentine over the last 2 years just to go ahead and see its potency, to see if its danger, to see if it has, to see what's going on. Sending people to the lab to see if I got petrochemicals in, and such and such. So, and then we've toned it down. I've toned a lot of stuff down. Like Mark and I used to go ahead and make all different types of 20 different herbs for parasites. Okay, and it would work great on you, and he'd say, boy, I pooped 5 pounds, and whatever came out of me. Then on Sloan, let's say, gave it to her, she threw her guts up. She says, I'll never take that stuff again. And what's your name? DePauli. And she had to go to the hospital. My stomach. Okay. So remember, playing around with powerful medicines, you know, we don't know the power of, because it's all an experiment. So we've toned a lot of things down right now, and I know things that are dangerous. We don't do it all. We found things that are easier, more economical. Okay, IVs aren't economical, and more efficient. Because no one wants to get poked, and you got to go to the doctor, and you know, I mean, $150 to $300 an IV treatment. So, okay, let's go ahead and round this one up. And Carlos, you know, I called him up a little while ago, and it took a lot for, you know, I know you to rearrange your schedule. So thank you so much for
Thank you.
for coming over here too, and everybody, Danielle and Reiko, and I know I just met Nestor here, and Sloan, but you know, everybody. I usually only really like people to come here to help us that have already gone through the program, is because they know what you're going to go through. Okay, and you know, I mean, it's nice to be able to know, just like Reiko said, look, I mean, this is something that you could really help people with, is because you've gone through this whole program. You know what they're going to go through, okay? And you brought a lot of equipment that basically that we don't even have, which of course is a beautiful thing. So you're adding to the program, insufflation, you know, all these different pieces like this. So got a nice, not only group, but we got a good group of supporters here, so. Okay, chakas again. We're all good. Aloha. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Woo! Chocolate's all gone too.
Makes it hard to sit still for that long.
They're gonna bring more chocolate because it's the last supper, huh?
No.
That's it?
Well,
You don't want to.
this is all you get.